No.
The stream is live. Show's live.
Hey, can everybody see now?
Are we live? We're finally live. Oh my God, you guys!
Now we can start all over again.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Did anybody screen record any of that?
Nobody missed it. So we kind of worked out the kinks then, guys. Everybody, thanks for hanging tight. It's my fault. I forgot to add the live. We've been live. We've been talking to ourselves by ourselves for the last 20 minutes.
Here's what you missed. We all want to quit on a weekly basis.
That's awesome, because at the end of the day, I had to get up and deal with the customer, and I'm like, fuck.
So if you can see us, and we're live, I should probably check the live on YouTube. Hello, is anybody out there? Can you just chime in and tell us, can you see us or not?
That's why nobody was saying yes earlier.
I know. Well, everybody was saying hello, but they were waiting. Right. Yeah, thanks, Luke. It was a rehearsal. Joke on us, right?
That's so fun.
Now we can rip through these questions and catch back up.
Now we can, yeah. But, it was a good dry run there.
YouTube is working. Right,
we've been promoting this thing for so long, right? And then the day we're supposed to go live, we're like messing up. I'm sorry, guys. It was my fault.
City.
Right? No amount of planning. So now everybody can see us. Say hell yeah, you can see us.
You have to do the whole introduction and everything again. So.
That's okay. It was a good dry run. So if you haven't been able to, can somebody tell me if they're watching on YouTube? I think I can watch.
Yeah, someone in the comments
on YouTube. Okay, YouTube's finally going. Okay. I'm just going to stay out of there. I don't want to even go over there because I'm going to be able to see all the YouTube comments. Okay, thank you. All right. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Finally, helps to start the show. I'm so thrilled to be here for a industry first. My goodness. It is the first official roundtable forum live stream with 6 brilliant custom coders. And let me introduce you to who they are. Starting in the right left-hand corner, upper level there, we've got Ross Scott, owner of Maui Powderworks, versatile job shop owner known for innovative finishes. Next, we have Justin Marshall of a family-owned versatile job shop as well, known for extreme restoration, especially in the oil and gas. Triple G, welcome to the show. Next, we have Rich King from Rags to Riches, versatile shop owner known for extreme restoration, especially in vintage furniture. Next on, we have Zach Terrell from Stay Spooled. If you don't know who he is, he's a specialty coder. Everybody kind of knows who this guy is. Known for eye-catching work, viral videos, and Instagram channel with over 100,000 followers. Up next, we've got Ashton Palmer from Palmer's Powders, specialty coder for his intricate design work and special effects. And then we've got finally Roro from Roro Designs, a specialty coder known for being one of the first to launch paid courses centered around automotive restoration. Hello, everybody.
Let's go.
So if you missed the first 20 minutes, we're gonna we were talking the whole time, thinking we were live, and no, Miss Kim here, the host of the show, forgot to turn it on. But anyways, I just want to say shout out to all of you guys. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for hanging in there for 20 minutes while we thought we were having a live show. So before we get started, I just want to kind of share with you a disclaimer that the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed here today are from the panelists, do not represent our production or its staff. The material and information presented is general information and entertainment purposes only. All content is the property of its owners, and the use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. You must be an active attendee to the live event to be eligible for giveaways. Instructions on how to enter will be given out soon. So the show format, and this is how it's going to go. We're going to do 20 to 30 minutes for each topic, followed by giveaways. And then we'll get back to the next topic after that. Opportunity to donate to the Victor Pate Foundation. Let's just pop that up here in the chat. Is this little QR code here. You can just zoom on that if you're listening on your or watching on your computer. You can just zoom in on that little QR code. Yep. Thanks, Roro. And donate directly to. Of course, I did mention this yesterday. 100% of the proceeds that we're doing on the show, your admittance ticket, is all going to Victor because he is really having to pivot his business quite quickly, quite hard. He's trying to get in the shop every day. It's been a struggle. And he dearly misses his wife. And we're just, all our prayers and hopes and wishes are going to Victor because he's given us so much support and, over the years. So we're very happy to share everything with Victor. So this is for Victor. And then if there's time, I do want to answer Q&As with everyone and share your comments. And then after the show, we'll be sending you a feedback form, which you can politely say, hey, you guys, I waited 20 minutes for this on the feedback form. I will understand. So without further ado, let's get started. Our first deep dive topic is about dealing with the struggles of scaling your business while learning the art of powder coating. So powder coating can be a hard business to launch successfully. When or how did you know you had something special going on, and how did you go about it? Ro, can you answer this for the second time?
No, I'll answer this for the second time. I'll keep this one short. So for those that don't know me or know my backstory, I actually came from the paint world, so the auto body and paint, as well as mechanical and metal polishing and a little light modification here and there. So I actually built up a following based on all that work first. And then that all translated to the powder coat world once I got into it. So I'm bringing all the knowledge that I've learned and experienced from those industries for almost a decade into the world of powder coating.
Anybody else? Ross?
Well, yeah, I knew I had something special when I basically went from painting to powder coating, and I saw how fast we could get stuff done. To me, that was just the most impressive thing, getting it right out of the shop and right into service. I was just ecstatic about it. I still am to this day. It's pretty impressive, when you have a contractor with a large scale job drop something off, and a week later they're picking it up and it's going right into service. It's only powder coating can do that, and it's pretty neat. And you should be excited about your business. So, anyways, that's all I got to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ashton?
Yeah, I grew up with a brother that was pretty dang artistic and was into, painting cars and all that stuff. So I got a pretty, quick crash course as a young kid. And then I walked into several powder shops and worked there. So I think from the basis of like watching my brother run his own business as a child and helping him do things, making him websites, helping him at shows, getting put in the thick of things at a young age, like really, made that switch in my mind go like, you're meant to be, like in your own business someday. And then it just kind of boiled down to it. And, I got sick of working for the man.
Right.
Everybody has to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But there can be hard lessons learned.
Absolutely.
When you're struggling, to understand your processes.
Right.
Many times, restoration projects, especially, Ross calls them shit work. They can get unexpectedly difficult. Maybe you just didn't see what the full process was going to take to do, or you have to rework some stuff that can't, just didn't work out as part of the problem. You've got low paying customers and unsatisfied customers. Was there ever a time that you guys wanted to quit? And what did you do to gain from those early experiences, or how did you get out of that mindset? Right, Zach. I'm going to start with you first.
Awesome.
You're the kind of the newbie to me because I just met you, but
I know I kind of just stayed to myself or tried to.
Smart choice.
Yeah. Yeah, but so pretty much like everybody else, I mean, again, you want to quit almost weekly, it seems, because I know for myself, you have such a high standard for the product you want to put out, and like I said, for social media, you see everything, and everybody's work always looks so perfect, and you want yours to look perfect, and it's just a really hard thing to do, and to find, an acceptable kind of like, I guess I don't know how to say it, like some things have to I don't want to say slide, that sounds bad. But certain things, it's not worth a full redo, to do this whole job over for this one little tiny thing on the outer barrel of a wheel, So it's hard for me to let that go and get past that. But yeah, pretty much every week ready to throw the towel.
You have to learn that perfection is unattainable.
Yeah.
Perfect isn't
Well, then
a thing that's
Rogo's
real.
got to stop posting on Instagram then.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
too good.
Just to follow up on Zach's statement, I think every one of the members of the panel here will tell you at some point in time they had the marketplace ad or the Craigslist ad, turnkey powder shop for sale, $1. I mean, we've all been there, and the frustration. Most of the guys that are in this business really are OCD, and the powder nib or the defect or whatnot, it will drive you crazy. And then you're stripping it. Now, in the beginning, that's a good thing because you're earning your street cred, right? Let's face it. Those trips to the strip tank, the redos, and the late nights, that's building character, right? That's for the future. That's when you become, I've made it, so to speak. But everybody has to go through those. And even having, looked at it 6 years later, doing it on a full-time basis and seeing everything that can come through the door, there are days when you're just like, why did I take this job? Why am I still in this business? There's got to be, the headaches are just so insurmountable. And to take it one step further, you see perfection when I post on social media. You see Zach's perfection, Roro's, Ross's. You see the perfection, right? The perfect part. What you don't see is the backstory of the struggle and the failures and the strip tank because it wasn't right and redoing it. And there's a fine line there. Exactly what Zach says. It can really, take a toll on you because you want perfection all the time. And when do you let that small thing go versus doing it all over again, losing money on the job, making no profit whatsoever, but it's your reputation, it's your name, and it's your business, right? So it is a struggle. It definitely is. Scaling a business in this nature is a struggle, and it continues from the beginning. Whether you're just starting out or you're a veteran, I think every one of us still struggle with that or deal with that issue every day.
Like, for example, the next 2 posts I'm going to make on social media, they have no idea the stress that these 2 wheels have caused me and how long it's caused the stress for. You're just going to see the end products and go, wow, that's sick. And I'm over here going, thank God it's gone.
Yeah. Now that I've lost a week worth of wages.
Yep.
I think all of us custom coders can agree. We all live at a 12-inch spectrum and being on like this microscopic level of like seeing dust in the air, or we're so close to the part. We're so hands-on with said parts, whatever we're doing, that it just becomes, like we're so used to seeing things so close and so fine that, when a customer shows up, they're usually like, like I would have never noticed if you didn't point it out to me. But at the end of the day, like I can't live with myself. I can't go home and sleep and be nice to my kids or my friends or my old lady if I've had if I'm trying to not get a dirt nib and gloss black, or I'm trying to make sure that this illusion color doesn't burn or whatever. But I think we're so in tune with what we're doing. We're so close with it that it's impossible for us to not see imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's add a question in here. Comment actually. Dynamic powder coating. I drive myself nuts daily with my OCD. I don't know if you necessarily need to have an OCD, but it's definitely there's something about your brain that makes you guys that way, right?
Just this industry causes OCD.
It does.
It's not
It
that you
does.
walked into it with OCD.
Well, you see Zach's stuff and Roro's stuff, and you go, "Oh man, I got to redo this. This has got to be. Look at these guys, you know."
Right.
And you do. You compete. You want to be at that level, so you do what it takes. That's for sure.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
Palmer said earlier, you know, social media is all smoke and mirrors. I'll take 30 pictures of one thing, but I'm going to post the best one. And
Right.
I want the world to see my
Absolutely.
best
Yep.
work.
I think that's even any photographer. Like the best
Yeah.
photographer in the world is going to have 200 shots of the same still, you know?
Right.
Like I'm going to post one of those.
I would like to add something here for all the new coders that are learning. And this is real important. When you have frustration that gets to a point where you have like a circuit board trip in your mind, just walk away.
Yep.
Walk away
100%. Right.
100%.
Just walk away,
Sure.
and or just put the project to the side and
Yeah.
and you know, go to the bar, have a beer, and then, you know, go home and sleep on it. And that's when you will find the problem solving. Like when you wake up in the morning, you'll go, "Oh my God, why didn't I do this?"
Wait a minute, you forgot something. Yell at your wife first, then go to the bar.
Busted.
Yeah. So, you know, for those guys that are learning, you're going to have those days where you get so angry.
Yeah.
And you know, you just got to walk away from it.
Yeah.
And then come back to it.
So that's
And,
like the biggest, truest artist statement right there. Like, especially when you're doing artwork, sometimes it just, you can't muster up that, you know, that vibe or whatever you're trying to throw down that day. And if you don't got it, just let it be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We've got Kevin from Canes. Zero perfection in powder coating. Yes. I mean, you have to come to that realization.
Yeah.
Or you have to find a balance.
You do. You really
My
do.
biggest thing is just stop looking so close.
Yeah. But it's what we do. It's what we do. We get
Right.
there and you take a light and you go over that wheel and you're looking for any possible. You get out in the daylight and you put it on the car. You put a tire on it, and nobody ever even, you know, all those wheels look great. That's fantastic. But you know every flaw in that part. You know,
I just said that in the chat. How we see things inches away from our face, but it's not the real world application. It's, you know,
Right.
if we see an issue on a motorcycle frame, it's completely bare. Once you put tins on it and an engine, you're not going to see that ever.
Right.
We
Yep.
drive ourselves
Right.
crazy about it.
Well, it's like if we're out in you know, the public and we're like that close to somebody's wheel, you might as well just be like, "Would you just look at this?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
I
laying on the
think-
ground looking at a wheel, but when we hang it, it's here. It's in our face.
Yep.
I think most customers don't see what we see, right?
Yeah,
That's
but at
their
the end of the
exact
day,
too.
I think it boils down to it. Like, I understand what it's like to be a consumer of a product and want to, you know, pay top dollar for it. Like, I understand their stress. I understand their nitpickiness because they're paying their hard-earned dollar, you know. And I'm working, I'm busting my butt to give them that, and sometimes it just doesn't work. It's like, you know, I spent almost 9 hours yesterday doing a set of wheels just for red to bleed through that wasn't even there by the naked eye.
Yeah, I know those pictures are sad. I know.
And every powder coater knows that horror story of red.
Yeah.
So it's like, we don't have to go into that, but you
So-
get it.
Malbec red. Ugh. I will not do Malbec red ever.
Oh,
Rough.
that one. Yeah, that was a nightmare too. You can't. It just. I don't know. It just. There's something about that one.
Well,
Manufacturer's defects are crazy when you actually look, and that's actually a really important part because when you're talking about bespoke powder coating, we don't have mill specs that we're trying to meet. We are the mill spec, right? And manufacturers, it's a little different because it's much more scientific or sort of par based, you know, where you have, you know, I think they actually have it written in the like scope of the work that you can't have, you know, you can have X number of divots or problems or bumps or whatever within a square inch or, you know, something like that. So, it is different for us in that sense that we create our own mil spec, right?
Manufacturing, it's like what, every 2 feet there's like supposedly there's allowed to be an imperfection or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was written in Powder Finishing magazine. Like I remember reading that when I was 23, 24, and I was like, what the heck? Like that's all the shops I ever grew up in was production shops, and I get it, stuff falls in your finish if your hooks aren't clean, like or this or that. We could go on long stories about just how to hang the part to not even get like said hang point or whatever, like
Right.
that's the major
just
difference
light
between
bulbs.
production, production finishing, and then just even like manufacturing. There's a huge difference between what we're doing and what they're doing.
Yeah, it's like they get light spots and lug holes. There's like Faraday areas missed.
Right.
Specs in it still, but then people have to compare it to that when we get a spec, but it's fully coated in and out, whereas the manufacturer isn't. But then you see one spec and they freak out, but it's like, should have seen how they came in. It was even worse.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like what Luke's saying. I mean, it's great to have somebody else in the shop to kind of balance you out when you get kind of hyper about things. I think for the most part, if you understand your customer, and we're going to get into that here moving forward in the next topic, is having that other person to kind of come in and give you that a different perspective, right? Not just your customer, but somebody close to you that works with you or whatever. So I think it's really important. Let's see. Here, this one. I love this one. Phil. I love Phil. Phil is our consultant in Europe, and he's joined us today. So thanks for joining us, Phil. It's about learning what is commercially acceptable. He is spot on there.
100% right there.
Yeah, spot on.
Right.
Thank you, Phil. Let's see.
What goes with that though, Kim, and the other guys is it's your reputation, right? You don't want to be considered a manufacturing big job shop. You want to be that special coder that people come from miles around because you are the best at what you do.
Yeah.
And so you obsess and you obsess to drive to get that perfection when a lot of times you can't. I mean, there's that one flaw, but you just can't keep going backwards. You got to learn to accept that. And it's hard. It's very, very hard. I think that's the line we're going
to draw on this show is the difference between, custom coders like us. I mean, I consider Triple G a custom powder coder just like me, because he takes the steps that I would necessarily take, even when it comes to me doing design work, artwork, dirt bike frames. It doesn't matter. But, when you look at, like, if you drive by other shops or whatever, you see the demographic of what other shops are dealing with, being production shops, like they have to turn to burn. They have to roll that stuff as fast as they can or in a reasonable amount of time to A, make money, to B, pay overhead. And sometimes that's why that product is, less than subpar. Not to say that they didn't try or they're not trying, but that's the big difference between us and, I would say, production or
that could also be what their customer is willing to accept.
Yeah.
It's the
if the
thing.
customer's like, I'm cool with that, just get it to me.
Well, and that's just it. Like, I mean, think about how much of it down the line from the customer to the shop to the end person is in a rush. Because if you look around us, no matter where we're at, like Roro's in Canada, I'm in Idaho, Rich is on the East Coast, Justin's in Texas, and how much of all around us, if we really stop and look about it, how many new apartment buildings are going up? How many new multi-million-dollar houses are going up? How many new Targets, Walmarts, gas stations, all this stuff, at some point or other, there's powder coating being done. And that powder coating has to be done to meet said, deadline. And unfortunately, that's where, not necessarily that the shop has to push it out fast. It's because they're trying to meet their customer's deadline.
Well, so what I talk about all the time. Everything's a rush in the finishing world. We're the very last step before install. So finishing is the
Very
last
much
thing
so.
on everybody's mind. So the welder, it comes down the list. The welder missed his deadline by 2 days. The QC guy missed his deadline by 2 days. The transport guy missed his deadline by 2 days. Next thing you know, you're 2 weeks out from your deadline, and it hasn't even made it to the finisher yet. And that's the world that we live in. Like, especially for me, I do a bunch of the architectural and the oil and gas stuff. Just like you said, Palmer, like there's 500 production shops around here that could bang that out within a day or two, but they're going to miss. There's going to be you're getting what you pay
there's
for.
sacrifices they have to take to make you happy.
And that's something that I'm very transparent about with like my customers is, okay, hey, I'm higher price wise than these guys are going to be. You're still going to get it in a timely manner, but this is the steps it's going to be. I'm not going to turn and burn, and you're not going to get it tomorrow. And that's just, it doesn't matter if you're doing stencil work, wheels, turbos. It's finishing is the last thing anybody thinks about, and then it's up to us to we understand what's commercially acceptable, but we need to find a balance of what we accept as well and set our standards that way.
Yeah. I like what I put this guy's comment up. My wife looks at me and says, "You chose this."
Yeah, we did all did this ourselves.
Yeah.
But I do want to, after that, the comment was Cole said, "I wouldn't have it anywhere else. So yes, 100%, And
I just want to go off topic, Kim.
Yeah.
Can I go off topic for a second? I just got a message in, and I see a good friend of ours, Steve Schilling, in the powder industry. His shop appears to have caught fire last night and burned.
Did it really?
Looks like looks like full devastation. And so I just want to say,
Not
Steve,
their house, though.
I'm terribly sorry to hear about this, and shout out to him because he's a great guy, and man, he's a fantastic coder. And prayers and thoughts are with Steve this morning. I see he posted it on Instagram, and man,
that's every powder coater's worst nightmare right there. Even
Absolutely.
if you got business insurance.
Yeah. He just put a post out, said he's working with his customers and his insurance folks to, obviously get things squared away. But thoughts and prayers.
Thanks for bringing that up, Rich.
Yeah,
thank you.
Deep stage specialties coating. There, I think he's in Indiana. I believe he's down in Indiana.
He's been on the show. I think they did episode 15 or something like that. Him and his wife, she's an accountant.
Yeah.
So let's hope they're doing okay, and hopefully they're safe. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll reach out. Everybody reach out to him and just give him a tap on the back there. It just, I don't know what's going on. It just seems like coders are getting hit hard these days. But
last week's been crazy with a few different people. That's upsetting.
So Dean, who's been on the show, actually just interviewed him or published a podcast. I interviewed him last year, but we took a hiatus. So he wants to know, are custom coders more artists than manufacturers? Very good question.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah. Thanks for joining the show and supporting us, Dean. I really appreciate that. And I will see you in a couple weeks because I'm going to be going to the Powder Coating Week, and I hope to be doing live interviews from there. So I know a lot of you guys that listen, I always talk about going there to this convention, and they all want to know what it's like. So I hope to kind of share some of that, so people can understand what it is like.
Sweet, then I can live vicariously through you instead of
Yes, you can.
Yeah. It's like we talked about the other day. Kim, I'm actually still going. I'm not going to go to the show, but I will be in Orlando the same week.
Yes.
So maybe we meet up and talk about it.
Maybe. Yeah. So, okay. I think we've kind of,
hey, back to Dean's question real quick though. I think we all answered that unanimously. We're definitely more artists than manufacturers. But that goes into a couple of topics that were brought up on the newer Facebook page that we're all a part of now. Is manufacturing and custom, like drawing the line between that. And that's kind of goes back into what we were just talking about. There's a lot of us that kind of teeter the line between custom and manufacturer where we're putting out, large batch production jobs and stuff like that. But that's what we were just talking about is like what's acceptable. So I definitely still consider us artists over manufacturers, but there is a fine line that you have to draw there because when you have 1,000 parts, how many do you let reject and things like that? So
I think at the end of the day, I try to hold like from being in 3 different powder shops and seeing, 3 different ways how to run a shop in a production style basis, I still adapt to a lot of those traits, a lot of those, good or bad habits or whatever. But I mean, I think that's what it really boils down to is, yeah, we can be fast at what we can do, but I think that just comes with time and experience and being at several different shops. Like Ro saying, he did polishing and auto refinishing and stuff like that. So I think that really boils down into like, if you do step into this industry, I would highly suggest stepping into this industry with somewhat of a background of already having finished work or already, starting a project to a finished result.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up topic 1, and I'm really kind of excited for this next new part. If I don't mess it up, we're going to go to the giveaway. Okay. Giveaways galore.
There we go.
And I think we're starting with Roro, and we're going to do a couple of them each time, right? So what's going to happen is you guys, Roro, in just a second here, I'm going to tell everybody what's going on, and then I'll have you kind of intro what it is that you're selling or giving away, not selling. Everybody is going to, all these guys are going to go kind of in the green room, so to speak, so that I can show. Actually, I'm wondering if I could, I don't know, I might have to change my screen, but if I can keep you on, that would be great. So let me see about switching the screen up a little bit to this one. And some people are missing. You can't see them all. So hold on. Let's see if I can get more of us. Yeah. In here. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell all the people listening right now that want to participate in the giveaways to let me start the tool. And Roro, while you're doing that, just go ahead and tell them what you're giving away.
So I have started a Patreon page. It's designed to help newer coders. I mean, any coder on the planet, if you want to learn some new tricks and tips or just learn a different process, I have a course that's refinishing valve covers. So it's an entire video, start to finish. It shows every tool supply, every step of the way, every movement I make, and explain why you should and should not do things to valve covers to get the best end results, as well as be the most efficient and profitable at the end of that job. Along with the video, I have a Google Doc that gets emailed, and Rich calls it a manuscript, but I would say it's like more like a instruction manual. And the instruction manual has more information than you see in the video. It dives deep into more of the process, as well as I got to give a massive shout out to Emerald Coatings in Canada, Andrew, and the guys down at High Temp Mask and Supply. They sponsor the Patreon page, and every course that is purchased, they offer discount codes to the people who have purchased the videos. So not only do you get this, $100 video, you also get discounts to these 2 suppliers to buy their product.
Awesome. Okay. So you see this hashtag powder. This is going to be the main hashtag for all of it. So I want everybody participating to put in hashtag powder in the comments. And the reason why is because when you do, you will be entered to win all the giveaways, any of the giveaways. Okay. So it's just one, you just have to do it one time. Hashtag powder, I think. You can keep doing it.
What if the same person wins twice?
It doesn't have it. There's the tool doesn't allow that.
Okay.
So yeah. So there we go. See, we got Lenny, Paul, hashtag William, powder, hashtag powder. Yeah, great. So this will continue on, and we'll just keep doing the giveaways using hashtag powder. I couldn't think of any other word, but I guess I could have done.
I gotta get Rich to so Rich is one of the patrons, so thank you massively, Rich, but can you explain what this manuscript thing is? Because I can never explain it as well as you do. Like the Google Doc that comes with it.
Manuscript? Right. Oh my
He
goodness.
calls it a manuscript, but I would say it's like an instruction manual document thing. I don't know. Yeah, I spent more time working on that than the actual video itself.
I would say it's a TDS sheet, big dog.
There you go.
Technical data sheet.
But it goes further than that, Ash. It goes further than
way
that.
Further than that. And I've never even seen them.
I mean, if anybody knows Roro's, when you see his finished product, and then he takes that product and then he breaks that down in what would be literally a manuscript. I mean, step by step by step. As I said earlier on one of the shows, I was showing my wife this video and then also the manuscript that came with it, aka the Google Doc, and she's like, and she's never coded before in her life. She said, I could do this off from the video and off from this step-by-step process. It was so clear, so concise. She's like, I think I could do this. I could do this valve cover. And she's never picked up a water gun in her life. So
that says a lot there.
Yeah, that says a lot.
Even without the video, there's more information in this document than there is in the actual video itself.
Yeah. All right. Sure. Just a reminder, everybody, put in the powder, #powder in the comments, and I'm going to click this draw.
Oh, and did this one guy do it right? This Tyler Billings said #powder, I think. I don't know if he already did it.
Yes, I think he did it earlier, but okay. Tyler, if you could do it one more time just to make sure you got in.
It doesn't do double entries or anything, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's just a one time, and you can see we have 21 out of what we've got 28 people joining us. So
yeah, whoever wins this, just reach out to me directly, and we'll just go over the details of how you don't pay for it.
Okay, yeah, and that we will follow up with everybody. So okay, so I'm going to hit the draw and see what happens. Ooh, look at all these people. This is so cool.
Please be Mrs. Potato Head. Please be Mrs. Potato Head.
Oh, Mario, you are a little, wisher, aren't you? He said he's crossing his fingers and then he won. Nice. Oh my! Oh, Mario, you're gonna love that. Mario is going to be your new best friend. He is so into powder coating, and I'll tell you, Mario has a secret talent that you will want to know. And that is, he is Spanish speaking and it has a following of Spanish speakers. So he could take you international.
I was like one of two people watching that live.
Yeah.
Hey, Mario. Congrats.
So Mario is just awesome. I'm so happy to meet him. And he's so, I'm like, I invited him on the show months ago and he's like, I don't know my Spanish and my English. And I'm like, and great. Then I was on, he was fine. So you're coming on the show, Mario.
Yeah, I love that guy. He was so entertaining to watch.
Yes, he is very knowledgeable. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this, and we're going to go back to the live feed. Let me switch up the add to the backstage here and do all my little crazy stuff. Let's see. There we go. Now we're back to the next topic. Okay, so topic number 2. How's everybody doing? I better check in with. I mean, are we boring, you guys? Are we boring? Has this been interesting? Has it been fun? Are we messing up? Are you?
I mean, the chat's still rolling, so I think we're doing good.
I got up on the side too. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So topic number 2 is talking about your focus versus your versatility, right? Deals with the insights on qualifying customers based on services the panelists will provide, along with effective strategies for managing expectations and justifying pricing. We kind of dived into this, right?
Kind of briefly.
Just at the end of this topic, which I was like, oh, we got to hold back. But so I just want to make sure everybody's, back at the show. How y'all doing? Let's give a thumbs up and a hell yeah. So the next question is, Location and reputation play a role in determining success. Today's panelists are known for being laser focused on what they coat, while others practically can do anything. Like they're versatile. They can do rims one day, then architectural the next, or whatever. In navigating your approach to business, was it a natural crossover for you, or did you start from nothing? So earlier, Ross and I think Ro were kind of coming from the painting world. How about you guys, you other guys? Maybe Zach, what's your background? Was it in painting too, or no?
No, so I don't have any. Prior to this, I had zero any kind of experience spraying anything. I was an operator or equipment operator at a dry storage marina for like 6 years, and that's all I ever did was run forklifts every day. But I love cars, so that was kind of my little entryway into it. So yeah, I had a Fox body, and I wanted to do some brackets, so I bought the Eastwood kit, little toaster oven, did it on the side. And then my wife got obsessed with Yeti cups. That was during that whole explosion. So I did Yeti cups for the next 6 months. And that's where I learned all my stencil work too, which was really convenient. And then it just kind of slowly, sorry, my dog's going crazy, but it slowly transitioned over to doing bigger parts, getting a bigger oven, and then doing the whole thing.
Justin, what about you? You were oil and gas, right? You were working.
Yeah. So, well, years ago, like back 15, 16 years old, I was a industrial painter for structural things. So we did roll on, spray on. I was just kind of the grunt, they point, hey, go do that kind of thing. And I told myself I hated that job, and I hated my boss. I hated every part of it. I went home in 16 different colors every day. I swear to God, I'd never do anything painting related again. And
now you're stuck painting yellow every week.
Yeah, exactly. I do so much safety yellow, it's unreal. It's funny because my old boss stops by. That boss from that that job, he stops by every now and he lives close to the shop, and he sees me out there and he comes by and he gives me hell all the time. But so you fast forward. I live in Houston, Texas, right? Oil and gas capital of America. That's all we do around here. It's refinery central. So it's just kind of a natural recourse for most guys, hardworking guys like me, to join that industry. And that's what I did. And I was really good at it, and I loved every bit of it. But also, I had a couple show trucks at the time, and just like cars, you have show season where, hey, you go to this one and this one and this one. You're trying to prep everything up, and I needed a few things coated and couldn't get it done within the show season time. So same thing, like Zach said, I bought the Eastwood kit, and I got on Craigslist, found another home oven that I put in my garage, and just started kind of experimenting. And then next thing you know, I had people bringing stuff to me, and then next thing you know, it just kind of blew up to what it was. So it was just like a natural progression. And like I said, I swore I'd never do anything painting, and now I come home every day yellow. But it's funny how it all works out that way. Looking back, if I could look back at that kid in 2012 that was trying to learn how to do it, and realize I'd be in this panel right now with all these guys, I would never believe it. So just crazy progression.
Rich?
Yeah, well, being the old man here, this whole group done a lot on this earth, and I saw a video of a cool snowmobile that was powder coated, and I was looking at my wife's snowmobile, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna do those control arms. I'm gonna do. She's a pink. She likes pink stuff, so I said I'm gonna do her sled. Got the Eastwood gun. Jerry rigged up an old freezer that I turned into an oven. Didn't know what I was doing. Got a candy color from Prismatic that I thought was close. Shot it the first time. Had no idea why it didn't turn out right. One of the guys in the forum said, "Hey, you got to put a clear base or aluminum or chrome base under it." Did that. Stripped it, blasted it, redid it. Came out perfect. Knew absolutely nothing what I was doing, and it matched to a T. My first coat ever was a candy, and it turned out perfect. That was
and then it all went down from there, right?
He was hooked. He was hooked.
That's the problem, right? It gets you hooked, and then
you get
struggle for the next
whatever,
10 years.
then multiple struggles, but then then it scaled, and I didn't do any work, and this is something that kind of reflects on your question that guys starting out should think about. Do the free stuff. Do everything around your house that your wife has always wanted coated. Try it, practice. Because when you screw up on that, it's your stuff, right? Or a close family member or a friend or somebody that says, hey, I'll buy the powder and, we'll go to dinner or whatnot if you can do my valve cover or whatnot. So, I didn't take any form of payment at all or charge any services for, probably a year and a half to 2 because I didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I was at a level where I should be charging for services because I wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? And so practice, make those mistakes. And then as you progress and you get better, then you can start putting yourself out there. One of the issues that I think we have right now is a young guy sees what I saw back in the day, gets a dual voltage gun or gets a cheap gun, and he says, I'm going to be a powder coater, and he puts a sign on Marketplace that says he's a powder coater. And somebody calls your shop and says, Rich, how much for a set of wheels? And you give him a price. And this kid's got a Marketplace ad, wheels $25 a piece, right? Oh, I'm going to go to that guy. And
first he has
so
to ask
what happened?
What he should charge.
And so there you go. He goes there, he has a bad experience, and it falls back on all of us, because then that customer says, I'll never have anything powder coated again. The last guy took it to, screwed it up, and he ruined my parts, and now I got a mess, and now what? So, anybody that's out there listening and just starting out, go slow.
Yeah. Ross, how'd you get started?
We had a motorcycle shop next to us, and I started doing motorcycle parts, just little risers and stuff. And I also started with the E-Scout, the $99 gun, and they still have a little
somebody's throwaway oven. Yep, the throwaway oven.
You started with an Eastwood dual voltage.
And there you go. And I actually had great results right off the bat. And I actually was I read a lot in this forum, 365powdercoating.com, something like that. And there was this one guy, I think it was Duke64, and I just started reading all this guy's posts, and I was like, oh my God, just so much knowledge. So I started doing all these little parts, but I was charging money right off the bat. I said, if I got to turn on the electricity here, we're going to do it. So, but coming from the painting background, I felt already established to do that. So, but then there was a lot of learning on certain things, different substrates and of course architectural versus these little rims and stuff like that. Big difference. So anyways, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Dean's got a good question, and I can't wait to see you at Powder Coating Week, because we are going to sit down and have a talking. Is there a desire for custom coaters to transition to production coaters?
No. That's what I came from.
Some of us, yes, and some of us, no. Right. So I think it's just a matter of figuring it out.
And this is something that I talked to a lot of guys, custom coaters during the week. A box of brackets comes in, right? That companies, they don't care what the finish looks like. They need them gloss black. They need them tomorrow, or they need them, let's say even 3 days. Hang and shoot. They don't want to pay for any blasting, no phosphate washing, anything. Hang and shoot. $2 a piece, $3 a piece, whatever. You can hang a slew of them, put them in the oven, and there's a quick $1,000, right? Let's say, or $2,000,
right.
whatever the cost is. Take that same set of wheels that we just discussed earlier, strip them, blast them, outgas them, strip them, go through the whole process, and then have a failure. Now you've just lost all that work for that day, or, you got to do a redo. You lost some material, you lost the powder, So in the long run, what makes more money? Absolutely industrial side, no question about it. What's the passion and what's the enjoyment? It's sure not standing there shooting gloss black all day on brackets or satin black or whatnot. So it is a fine line, you know, it really is.
I was the opposite though.
I think it's determined on where your location.
Yep, I was just gonna say that. Like for me, it's impossible for me to compete with the production shops around here, especially the shop I learned and originated from. I mean, I can't sit there and spray. You know, I can't sit there and paint multiple loads of brackets all day and be competitive or be I don't feel right. You know, like if somebody brings me in a bunch of L brackets, like I'm going to charge you $5 to $6. I'm going to be $4 or $5 more than the dude down the street, because there's a lot of factors. Like obviously my prices and hooks, like I gotta, you know, like hooks aren't free. Like
not only
the hook's got to be clean. Like I'm just too anal. I'm just way too anal retentive, my pricing and so on and so forth. So like, yeah, sometimes I'll take it on, especially if I'm slow. But at the end of the day, I don't touch it because the guy down the street can help you. It might take him a little bit longer, but you're going to get your bang for your buck.
But not only that, it's because we do the custom work and we take all the steps to get the end result we do. Why would we do any lesser on this? Because the customer wants us to just shoot over galvanized. No pre-wash, no nothing, just shoot it, do it black. We're going to strip it. We're going to blast it. We're going to deburr edges. We're going to primer. We're going to coat. We want it to be flawless, and that's our procedure. So that's why we have to charge $5, $6 a piece, where someone else would be 50 cents a piece, because it's just hang and shoot.
Ross, you kind of smiled a little bit ago.
Well, you can never compete against a line coater.
No, that's what I was
just cannot. They, you know, we went over this. We had that bid the other day. Rain gutter screens, and the guy goes, "Hey, I'm getting this for $3 a linear foot. Can you match that?" And I said, "No, it's going to be $8."
That line guy is probably getting powder way cheaper than you are, because he's buying tons of it and we're buying pounds of it.
Yeah. So, you know, you just can't compete against the line guys, and you just have to realize
we did the best we could with our bid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we understand that. I think that what we kind of came to with that, in that conclusion, and we put out the best bid we could, was that the manufacturer wasn't powder coating it. So it wasn't an OEM manufacturer. It was just somebody developing the screen getter covers. And then they were going to have to ship it to a powder coater. And then that powder coater was going to have to ship it here. And so they were paying double shipping, right? So we knew.
So hold on. There's a line coaters in Hawaii?
No, there is none, but I'm talking about a mainland line.
Right. I was just curious. I was like, wow, there's room for that over there.
Yeah.
No, it's too expensive here. You know, everybody that has ovens here, they're usually all gas, and they run off propane, and propane is so expensive here in Hawaii. You literally will go out of business just right there with that aspect.
So, I guess that kind of made us, you know, when we
I just want to add to Rich. He actually has it spot on. You know, we got to make the money, and we make money by doing the architectural stuff. I mean, I love it when a bunch of railings and gates come in. It's just fast, easy, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But you know, you get a set of rims, and you're like, whoa, you got to slow down, take your time. You know, it's not the same process, and it's way less money. But you got to do those, and those are the artistic ones, you know. But I do draw the line. No two-toning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same as Ronan at first. So I just recently relocated to Kansas City, and it's very industrial up here. Where I was at previously in Florida wasn't like that. I was very focused on, I want to be a custom coder. That's what I like to do. But then when I moved here, I had some opportunities come up, and just like Rich said, the no prep, just hang, spray. They were getting parts made in China and coded in China, and they were failing when they got here. They would just chip and flake and do all the things. So they had me test a couple. They liked them, and the amount of money that I can make doing that is, you know, doing 10 sets of wheels at a time. And I can let anyone spray it. I can hire a guy and let him just spray satin black for a week and make, you know, $20,000 and not do anything. It's the simplest work, but now it's not as steady.
Moving to Kansas City.
But if I can get that once a month, then I'll not do wheels at all.
I think you're understanding the marketplace, and that's kind of what we were at, is knowing your marketplace and knowing what the problem is. Why are they coming to you and asking you to do production work when you are bespoke? And that's really the question you need to ask yourself. And that's what I kind of was discussing with Ross was, why are they asking us? What's the problem? What problem are they? But they're not going to tell us what the problem is. We have to guess it. And that's when I came to conclusion that, they were paying double shipping. See? So they were looking for, we might still be in the running. I have no idea. I mean, there are other advantages you can do in the marketplace, like disadvantage business qualifications and stuff like that if you wanted to pursue it, but that's a lot of headache.
So what you're just talking about though is like, why are they coming to you? I get that all the time. I have we do several brackets. They're about 8 inches long, 4 inches wide. The way they came to me, they were already getting powder coated, and they came to me and said, "Hey, just hang spray, do that kind of thing." I asked them why. What's the problem? When we talked about price and everything, the guy was like, "Well, I'm paying $2 a bracket now." I ended up coming somewhere around $6 or $7 a bracket. I ended up getting it because we had that conversation of this is failing because it's not being blasted, or there's no prep, there's nothing. So we're going to have to factor that in there. So it's good to just explain that to them, and you might end up getting the job anyways.
Yeah. Okay, let's see where we are with the comments here. Let's see. Dumb question. There are no dumb questions, Paul. Lollipop, can I send it? Oh, did you answer that one? Okay.
The dumbest question is the one not asked.
Right? Yeah. It's all open forum here. I think we've kind of, let's get back to the giveaways. I'm having fun with that. Giveaways galore. Okay, so this time I think I have to draw again. Okay, so if you haven't added your hashtag powder to the I'm doing the thing again. So I'm just going to designate a winner because I hit the button wrong. Robert Baker, you just won the next prize giveaway. And the next prize giveaway is Scott Coates is giving away $100. Yeah, $100. Let's put up Scott's banner. Nice. He didn't have a banner really, so I just kind of made a text one. But Robert Baker, thanks for adding yourself into the hat, and you just won $100 gift card. We'll get back with you. It's his full-on vacuum kit tools. Hopefully you don't have one. If not, you can. Yeah. Okay, next one. Let's do a Columbia Coatings. I'm lost. Yeah. Lex, why don't you tell me where we should be? You can use your mic if you want. You don't have to come on. What are we doing next? We've done row, first in finishing, and they're giving away. Let's put them up.
Big one.
Yeah, big one. $250 gift card or gift certificate to their thing. So let me share my screen because I didn't share it before. So hopefully, Alex, can you write down Robert Baker's name and what he won? I'm going to share the screen. And before I do that,
remember there's 2 from first and finishing for that.
Right.
So there's a total of 5.
Right, and I have to change. Yeah. This is the technical stuff they don't tell you about. I have to change the way everybody looks. No, that's not the one I want. I think it was this one. There we go. But I need more people. This one. I got to remember what. Oh, it's screen layout. Okay, so Robert Baker, you won the last one, which was Scott Coates vacuum kit for $100. If you haven't added your name in the hat, can you please add the word hashtag powder to the to this giveaway tool? there should only be just one winner. It's not, you're not going to have extra chances to win. So just make sure you do put that hashtag powder in there. So let me click on this draw and get going. So you have more chances to win, actually, because less and less people participate. So please don't. Who put Maui Powder Works in there? Gabe! Oh dear. That might be, I don't know. Well, I'm sure Gabe will know somebody to give that $250 gift certificate. Or Gabe, you can just throw it back in the hat and we'll use it next time. But thanks for participating, Gabe. Congratulations. All right. Next one is, I think we should switch to Columbia. What do you say?
There you go.
Are you good with that?
Yep.
We need to, Columbia Coatings has been a good supporter of bespoke powder coating forever. We are powder coating. So it's very nice of them to donate. I think it was a $75 gift certificate. So go ahead if you want. Yeah, Gabe, thanks. You're welcome. Go ahead, put hashtag powder if you haven't yet already. And I'm just going to hit draw one more time. I wish we need music or something in the background. We'll get better at this. Yeah, thanks. Clint Olson. All right. Congratulations, Clint. Good job.
Excellent.
I'm sure you'll be using that one.
Absolutely. My good friend Clint. We talk daily. That's my buddy.
That's great.
Great
Awesome.
coder. He's an awesome coder.
I see his name all the time in all the groups.
Yes, I do too.
Very active in the community.
Let's make sure he gets added to that new group, Roro. We'll make sure that he gets invited to that group if he's not in there already.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good to know. That's something that's kind of been interesting is we'll talk to you, but we don't look up what company you own, right?
Yeah.
So we're kind of getting to this new group. I really like because you can kind of match the name with the owner of the business. Okay.
Can I give a shout out?
Yeah.
I know we're going to get into this topic of like people who do things for the industry and kind of break out or whatever. Someone in the chat just said, everyone drop your Instagram. So everyone in the chat can just follow each other and stuff.
Good job.
I just saw Dynamic Powder. Just so everyone knows, he's the guy that started the marble effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the reason that blew up. He's the one who taught people how to do it, made a video. So like, thanks to him.
It's spreading like wildfire. Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice seeing everybody do their thing.
I've never seen something take over that fast.
Yeah.
Ever.
But
it was like wildfire.
You could easily add that to your lineup in your Patreon. So, okay. So let's get back to the next topic. I hope we probably should do some more giveaways we'll do more giveaways at the very end for all those that have stuck around and I want to just
we got more powder.
Yeah, we've got a lot more powder. I don't even know if we're going to be able to give it all away, but we're going to try. So, okay, let's go to topic number 3. Oh, and before I forget, we've got to keep relative here in terms of, making sure that we are paying attention to the J. Pate Memorial Fund. Please, if you can, please go and donate to, you can even go to PayPal and use on the ticker there is Victor's email. You can actually just donate directly and privately to him, but you can also use the little QR code that we have here. So I just want to say, please do keep him in your thoughts today, tomorrow, and in the coming months.
He's a huge dude in our industry. We owe it to him.
We owe it to him. Yes, I agree. We owe it to him. So, okay. I'm going to stop sharing. that giveaway tool. And okay, so topic number 3. And it's funny because I love these topics and how they all funnel into each other, because and Rich always does this ahead of time. I don't know. He's like, he'll start tapping into that next topic before we're, so it's validating to know that the topics that we chose, and Rich helped me, Roro helped me, Ashton helped me too, is, and Justin, is, we all kind of sat there and talked about it and what would be, a sequential kind of topic to dive into. So this one is certainly on point. It covers what our panelists want to offer in terms of ideas. So we're going to ask you for your ideas or potential solutions to accessing topical knowledge and training in the custom coder community at large. And we just kind of talked about that briefly during the break and stuff. So our final topic of the show revolves around the dynamic landscape of powder coating trends and the nuances of social media. Let's explore the impact of great posts, deciphering what sets them apart in garnering likes and follows. Additionally, we will navigate the challenges of misinformation and disinformation circulating in Facebook groups, shedding light on the caveats within the online powder coating community. So I know that was a big thing to say there, and it covers a lot. I mean, there are a couple of 3 standout people here, in my opinion. Not us, but the lower bar there is who I'm talking about. I think they're just, they do what works for them. But there are some hidden talents there. So I'm actually going to probably kind of go off of this a little bit, because Zach, I'm going to call on you, because I think out of all of us and anybody else that I know outside of a powder manufacturer or, that has hundreds of thousands of followers or whatever, you're at the 100,000 mark. I mean, what does that look like? And obviously your videos are extraordinary. I don't know what it is, lighting, point of view, camera shoots. I don't know what it is. It's just very attractive. And his work, right? Yeah. It's like sometimes people, have this ability, custom coders have this ability to sprinkle magic dust on their stuff and it just looks better. Can you kind of shed us some insights there?
Yeah. So I don't know, I've always been interested in social media before, like even before powder coating, I even started. So I've always kind of been good with it. I don't want to say I got lucky. I started with the TikTok stuff early on. I mean, it was such a small app, and I started doing that TikTok thing and post a couple videos just to play around. They ended up doing really well, and then they just kind of kept going from then. But from what I've learned, a lot of it's just numbers. So they don't really translate to a whole lot, especially being a powder coater. Like someone thinks, oh, you have 100,000 followers. I bet you're just flooded with business all the time. So 100,000 people are like, they're just, I don't know how to really explain it like that, but it's all just numbers on a screen. It's not translating into jobs,
Right. Yeah.
So it's different. And then like your approach to social media has to be different too. So my videos aren't like really targeted to people that know about powder coating or want to see powder coating. It's really just satisfying things to watch. So you're going after like a super market that doesn't care about powder coating, but in that little bit of engagement you get, you're hoping a couple can kind of funnel through there. But that's been the biggest thing, is just doing, I don't know, things that I like to see, and just satisfying videos is my go-to thing. But it's recently got a lot more involved as once we had a couple videos blow up and they did well, and then everybody starts kind of posting really similar content to the things you're doing. So I got a new camera, and that's been awesome, but it's such a process now that it almost, like the last 6 months has almost taken the fun out of it. because it's such a process. You have to film all
Yeah.
these things, then bring it home and edit on the computer for 2 hours to make 2 videos. And
It's a lot of effort.
yeah, it used to be just, plug your phone in, shoot it, post it, and you're good.
Right.
But now it's like a full-time extra job on top of it. So it's definitely can be a pain in the butt. It's awesome and I love it, but it's a
I was
lot
gonna
of work.
say, you definitely started the trend of like you just see the part hanging up and just the cloud going on.
Yeah.
And now every video, even myself, I try to do videos like how you do them because you have the numbers.
Yeah, it just works.
Like,
just
like now you have to be different because everyone else's look like what yours were.
Right. So that's why I got the new camera. Spent way too much money on it, but it's been good. I don't know if it's that big of a difference quality wise, but
What kind of camera is it?
It's a Sony A7S III.
Ooh. Yeah, boy.
So it's good. It's just a lot more camera than I really need for time lapse.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's always the uphill climb is, to get back to that original, almost the first topic is like what you see online is not, the effort behind it is missing, people do sometimes make it look easier than it is. But that doesn't mean, and maybe that's the thing about social media that is so misleading, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually
going to touch on that too, because I mentioned earlier that, I hate social media because it puts such a false perfection on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like it's also part of my job because I, make money off of content. So the whole purpose is to wow people, to make them think like, whoa, wow, this is perfect. Everything is just beautiful all the time. So it's like I kind of cause the same thing that causes me a headache. So it's kind of weird, but like it's I hate it and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, just to touch on what you said about like the numbers don't translate to sales. So like any like new coder coming up, like don't chase these numbers.
Exactly.
Like I had a TikTok video blow up and I looked at the insights and it was males from the age of 30 to 45 in like China.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
doesn't matter.
It's crazy. There's like nothing. There's like next to nothing in like North America, nothing in Canada. It was all like, I just posted it I never like take, see what time I posted. I'm just like, I'll just post it now. So maybe it was nighttime in the morning, where it was, and it call it there for you page. And yeah, that was the demographic. And I was like, that doesn't equate to sales, but it's like a 2 million viewed video.
Right. I think the only one that's executing that really well is Scott Coates.
Yeah. Because
it is equating to sales, right? But it is a product. And that, but I think other than that, it's a slippery slope. I think when I was, and I've kind of done a lot more in my Instagram posts now have been more about the show and promoting the show and stuff. But I mean, it's very hard to create posts to speak to the audience that you need to speak to in order to get that message. Hey, can you do my lift kit or my rims or whatever? And it takes a lot of dedication. I think it can be done, but it's the messaging that goes with the post and stuff.
And
so it's
and I think that to just kind of elaborate a little bit on what Zach said, it's the presentation of the final product. It's showing some steps, maybe, your blasting, your masking aspects of it, your primer, your sanding, your finishing, and then the presentation in the photograph, so that somebody that does see that may translate into a sale can say, wow, this looks like a very professional shop. They go through these steps. Looks like they put a lot of time. Everything from the beginning of the project to the end was professional. From the guy that's in the picture to the guy that's wrapping it up to the packaging, that all translate, I think, in likes and views are awesome on the social media network. But the most important thing is that translating to somebody that says, wow, did you see, Ronan's wheels job? I'm calling that guy because I want him to do my wheels. Did you see how much time he took on that? That's where it translates.
The sharing,
just liking it, loving it, whatnot, giving you the fire emoji. You need that to be sales. You need that to be jobs coming into the shop.
And that might take you going. Yeah, and it might have to take you to go to that shop or that guy's house or whatever because they're not always, they say they're going to send you photos when they get it all set up and everything, but they never do. So you need to go pursue those projects yourself, and that takes more effort and time and all of that. But
in fact, I'm gonna shout out here to my friend Clint. We were talking, Clint Olson there at ProCoat. We were talking this week, and I said, on your Google webpage, do you send out the review? And we were talking. He says, "Man," he said, "I don't." He says, "I forgot about that. I start to do that. I need to do that." I just started doing it last week. Caught up to a bunch of my customers, and almost all of them, did the review. And boom! I went from 10 reviews up to I think 27 or 28 now, and it was nothing, right? And that's what people are looking at, and that's what's hitting on the social media and the SEOs and stuff when they're Googling. They're seeing those ratings, and so it's important, again, to just that little housekeeping stuff that we don't necessarily remember. We kind of forget. Hey, I'll send you pictures when I get it all said and done. Don't rely on that guy to send you pictures. You send him a review and say, review my business. Was it a good process? They do it.
I have a video on my Patreon about that.
For me, it's like I think the biggest thing that boils down into anything kind of social media. Like I grew up racing BMX and motocross, and growing up and idolizing like people like Jeremy McGrath and Ricky Carmichael, all these amazing people. You get stuck in this rut of like, okay, I'm talented, or I'm this, or I'm that. Like, why aren't people calling? Why aren't people sponsoring me? This, that, and the other. You can get stuck in that loop. But I'm a firm believer in like, I'm a big emotional person, so I just try to convey like, even when somebody comes in my shop, I try to create a relationship with my customer before I'm taking on their work, because A, I need to get to know them. B, I want to pick their brain about what they want, and I want to give them exactly what they're looking for.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it kind of results into like how I carry myself in social media is like, I don't care about numbers. You can get lost in that stuff so fast. Like, views, likes, comments, whatever, like all these numbers, it's all a facade, like if all these likes and numbers and followers really paid my bills, I probably wouldn't be coding by now.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like, I still come into my shop every day, whether I'm on camera myself or I'm just taking a quick reel of the product I just did. That really results into like how I felt that day. Like yesterday when I did these wheels, I really did want to like, video myself coding these wheels and taking everybody through the process, but it's just that much more effort that I have to put into it mentally and physically to where then it's taking away from my end result. So it's like, if I'm really feeling it that day, then that's when I'm on camera. That's when I'm being my goofy, normal self. But at the end of the day, I think if I'm going to put forward a product or, like this production on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else, I have to just try my hardest in real life, because then, the companies will come, the endorsements will come, like people, like it's like the other day I did some KMC wheels. And this dude came in, I did them. They turned out super rad. And then the next day he had them already on the truck. He already had a Google review, and it's like, holy smokes. And like his Google review was like, almost made me cry in the sense of like what he said about me, how I went about doing things. And I was like, holy crap. Like,
when you write like a paragraph.
Yeah. And it's like, that really goes to show how I did treat that customer. And like, at the end of the day, I befriended that guy. He's not my customer. That dude's my friend now. And that's really what it boils down.
All my customers too. Yeah.
That's how it boils down for me, is like, I have to be your friend. And that's my goal, is I want to be your good friend, because the fruits of my labor, I just like what Ross is saying, like, you want to do free work. The amount of free work that I've done in my career is astronomical. And I probably shouldn't do that, because, there's some major negatives that come with it, from feeling like you're getting taken advantage of, the list goes on. But at the end of the day, like, it allows me to go to bed at night and sleep sound. And it's just like you're just spreading positivity is really what I'm about. Because if I spread positivity, then it's infectious to the next person. And then that person's going to spread positivity to the next person. And it's just a big trickle effect. It's like, put good energy out in the world, and then it's going to come back tenfold.
And we're in the same world as these people. Like, I'm a car guy. I'm into
Exactly.
like
We're
cars looking
consumers
nice.
at the end of the day.
And it's like I deal with the same like-minded people as me. So when people come to my shop, sometimes I can spend 30 minutes talking to them about their builds, sharing pictures. Like, some guy comes in and I'm like, oh, that's all for a Honda. What do you have? They don't know I'm a Honda guy. And I'm like, these are my cars. This is what. And then we get into this whole conversation. And then they feel better being like, wow, I brought it to a guy who literally is going to take care of this stuff because he likes it as well. Right. And then the next time they come, hey, did you get that part on your car yet? Hey, what's your next build? How's your wife? Like we just, you build a relationship with them and they keep coming back and, you see them at the show, you talk to them for a while again, but it's never about work. It's about the cars. It's about, so definitely building a friendship with them is like my goal as well.
I think what comes to mind for me is, obviously you look to some leaders that are really, doing it well. And we're kind of pulling that curtain back right now on, some of the outcomes to having, to have these beautiful videos online, but who is the audience and stuff. I know for me, when we started getting into it, half of the followers I had were custom coders, and that's how I got this community going. And you're commenting on other people's posts and giving them encouragement and stuff, or congratulating them on doing a job well done. But who is it that, obviously we, a lot of us do follow the three of you. Who do you follow?
Obviously, everybody on this panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say Ro and Zach. They're huge inspirations to me. Also, Robert Soka from RMP Performance. That dude is
insane.
Like, I think these two dudes sitting next to me plus Robert, like, they're literally the best wheel refinisher dudes in the industry. And like to have that kind of finish work to look at every day, it gives me something to aspire to and just try to be cool. Like I want to throw down and it's not even that I want to be in the mix with these guys, because it's like they're doing what they're doing. I do what I do, but to be able to like go to bed or go home and be like, dude, like my finish work just looks as clean, if not like the same as theirs. That's what I'm like, cool. I can put my hat up on the rack at night and kick my feet up and, eat my food and dinner and not worry about, trying to be, good at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I like to look for trends. Like, obviously Statespool, when he first came on, I'm like, oh, that's really, a unique perspective that he had. Roro is very standout in my opinion because he does the job from start to finish, right? So you see that entire process. I think another comment I want to make on Instagram and some of the reasons why you do want to take photos is, not guarantees, but like you do want to document if you
build
can.
a portfolio.
That was what I was going to say.
There's that, but also there is this culpability too, right? You are doing restoration work and you are kind of putting it on the line where a customer could come back at you and say, you didn't blast this, or you didn't coat this right, or you didn't. So I want you to think about it, not just from a media perspective, but also, a portfolio perspective, as well as, a processing.
Every time I do one of these gliders for people, because it's a price tag. I mean, it's a large price tag. Whether I'm refabricating the piece, whether I've got to build hardware for it, they don't make the 1950s.
Those are like
glider,
the swing. Those are like the swing chairs, right?
Mm-hmm. So the whole time. So if I build them for say 10 hours worth of shop labor, sanding and OGF and primer and epoch strong and all these things, I want to show it. I want to be able to show them the process and have it in my camera that I can show them. Look, here it is right here. You got billed for this, and here's the process right here, and here's why. Because not that I've ever had that, but it's just good to let the customer know they're getting their money's worth. What they're paying for, they're getting.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing that I love about Ro's Instagram page is it pulls me back to like, I would say, I don't know, like we live in like the greatest time ever, right? But I would say TikTok has kind of ruined like the social media platform of like these goldfish like 5-second mind spans. And like that's what I love about Rose Page is like, yeah, he does reels and stuff, but at the same time he's still very adamant about posting pictures. And that reminds me of like where like my, just nonstop scrolling, nonstop being up late at night, like looking at people's finished work from a picture. And like that, like it's at this point it's nostalgic, you know what I mean? Like, and that's, like that's what it originally formulated from for me was just seeing pictures, not like these, 15-second reels of, wham bam, different
snapshots of
angles,
things that you can't
all this
see
stuff, and then having music that goes with it. Like, yeah, it's great and it pulls us in, but at the end of the day,
such a shot at Zach right now.
no, not really. But at the like everybody has their own style. Like, and look at my page. That's all my page was pictures, and then I was like, shit, I gotta get on this
anyway.
I gotta get on this reel. We got to get on this reel wave because if not, we're gonna get lost.
You have to stay relevant. Like you just you
do.
At the same time, oh, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I don't have a large following. I think between all of mine, I have maybe 3,000 followers, but the reels is where it kind of really took off for me. I was taking pictures of everything before and after. This is how it looked before, this is how it came in, this is how it left. Yep. And I actually made a reel one time and it got 2 million views, first reel I ever made. And it just became a thing. And then over time discovered that, okay, well, hey, if I like to do time lapses, right? So I do a time lapse from the time that I blast it to comes in to all the way to finish. And like you were saying, Ashton, that's snippets. You're not really seeing the picture aspect of it where like other coders, like I do this to all y'all. I'm not sure if y'all do it to me, but I zoom in on your picture.
I was going to say, I love to zoom in.
Yeah,
that's my thing. Yeah.
But like when you do those reels, you really don't zoom in. You can't, you got 15 seconds of time lapse, 1 second I'm over here. The next second I'm on the other side of the shop. It just, that kind of thing. But doing those reels took off tremendously and also ended up landing into dollars. Like I got 3 of my biggest industrial contracts off of those reels because people local to me were sharing those.
That's right.
So there's good and bad that goes with that, right? There's smoke and mirrors that go with that, but then also like Rich was saying, somebody sees that and they're like, okay, this guy's taking the time to do every step possible to make sure they get a consistent outcome.
My biggest thing is like, I don't know if you guys seen that BMX frame that I did where it's all stencil work and it like I hand cut out flames and faded illusion colors and all this other stuff. And it's like that kind of work that's really what drives me. That's really what is me to the core. And you go and you invest your time and your effort and your heart into something. And then you're like, man, this is going to blow up. Like, and not even that I'm like wanting it to blow up or thinking it's going to blow up, but that people that are looking at it are going to go, wow, and then likes. 2 weeks later, it's got like maybe 1,000 views and you're like,
right.
And then you do some stupid little tiny part that's like brown and that blows up. You're like, what is where is the comparison? Where's the difference? Man. Like, that's what I can't stand about it. And that's why I say it's all smoke and mirrors. Like we can't really feed into this stuff as much as we would really like to.
Yeah.
Well, I think people that are followers out there or people that are following this show is, what do you do when you just got the basic bro? I mean, we do a lot of black and silver. That's it.
Whatever pays the bills, really.
Right. So,
and that's something, Kim, that I think, from my perspective, talking with these 3 guys on the bottom right here, what they do, right? And people are drawn to those pages and stuff. But then you've got the coder. I'm going to just say myself. I just see everything in a day. I see the worst of the worst of the worst that comes in. That's my name, rags to riches. Everything that comes in looks raggedy. All right. So we made it look like riches, But the point is that, the guy that's out there every single day that's doing the brackets, that's doing the ATV frame, the razor, he kind of gets left. I wouldn't say left behind a little bit, but he's just like, he's not cool. But look at Zach. Look what Zach's doing today. Look at Ronan's got going on today. Look what Ash is doing. And we, I mean, these guys are awesome. I mean, these guys, I absolutely admire them. but you've got, that other aspect of the finishing business and the powder coating industry. We just see everything, and we see the worst of the worst. And got to put in they expect me to take a steel wheel that's been on the bottom of Lake Michigan for 20 years and make it look like something Ronan just did on his Instagram, right?
My biggest thing when it comes to, obviously, like with my brother and stuff, we've been restoring old vintage refrigerators, gas pumps, Coca-Cola stuff, and like the Coca-Cola stuff is like the biggest pain in my butt. Like I've done so much Coca-Cola stuff, and a lot of it comes out great, but when it comes to refinishing, like a lot of the hardware or a lot of like the bottle poppers or any of the things that are stainless or polished chrome, like, oh my God, that is an outgassing nightmare that will never end right there.
Right. Those rims, by the way, Ross just showed you, were in the fire.
Oh, wow.
Well, that means they're going to be outgassed perfectly.
They have melted glass on it.
Whoa. Wow. That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
It
came with a porcelain finish.
Now. Yeah. It's
I'm
really
gonna push the buttons on this topic because the whole this topic. I'm gonna push this to the topic we're all here to talk about.
No.
The whole reason this whole thing started was we needed to talk about the influences going on in this industry and who's doing what for the industry. Anyone else take the lead?
At first, well, I'll tell you, I mean, I'd already suspected because Rich and I were talking a year ago, and I was asking him questions like, why am I not in this group? And, he tried his best to do that, to resolve that for me. And here we are a year later, and we just discovered a lot about things that we thought were happening that weren't really happening the way they were. And, I didn't think that there would be blowback on that first live promo a couple weeks ago. And then, what do you know? We turned a corner, guys. But I think it's all positive in the end because we're starting a new perspective, a new platform, a new outlet.
There's a new wave and shift in the industry that like people might not know about.
Mm-hmm.
Like
this
is
is
a lot of
stuff
happening
from coders for coders,
Yeah.
And I mean, whether you're production, whether you're manufacturing, or whether you're custom, I think any of these people on the panel will have great advice that you can go from, or like even you can have been taught something 100 times in a row, but until one person tells you
the right way,
the same thing, it's just like whether it's their influence, whether it's who they are, or if you admire them, your light bulb will finally just go bink, and that's what it is. I think we're all here for a positive reason, and there's no negative here.
Yeah.
Right. And I just want to move forward, and that those people will be, and I feel bad for, it's been going on for quite a while, I think, but, it's great. I think that's what the whole 2024 thing is about, is just unraveling these behind the scenes and getting some transparency in who we are. And I'm so, it was a little tenuous there after that show. And I'm glad that, Ronan took the initiative to really get this. It's what we needed, for sure. We'll see how this group goes, but I'm really excited to be part of it. And the talented people, the people that have been produced and, commenting accurately in groups need their own place. They do.
That's what I was going to touch on. Like, if you're a coder getting into it, I would avoid going into Facebook groups for a long while, until you have like your own base, till you have your own basis, to where you have fixed stuff, to where you have stripped stuff. Like, because you go into some of these groups and it's just an echo chamber of endless answers, and that can be very confusing. It's like I had Aaron from Dry Powder Art, or Nerds and Nomads. He's like literally the best dude in the industry when it comes to stencil work. Like nobody is on this dude's level when it comes to stencil work. And he came up here personally, and I had already had a basis of my own kind of stencil work. And he showed me his process. I showed him his process. And then even for weeks to months to even almost a year afterwards, it kind of confused me on where even like I was at mentally. And it had nothing to do like he taught me wrong or vice versa. It's just things can get so confusing, and people like us, your brain will contradict itself to the most nitty gritty point. So it's you got to be really careful about the information you do take in, and just kind of like look at everything from the outside, like, and just take it slow.
And so Ash, I think last night when we were talking in the chat, Ronan was talking about his settings. I was talking about mine. Zach, I mean, every one of us had a different, using basically the same gun, right? We were all using pretty much the same gun, and every one of us had a different setting. And so there you go. There you go.
And like I said in the chat, my settings 1 week to the next didn't work.
Like that's one of these days is I'm gonna take down everybody's settings, and I'm gonna go in and just try like a panel or a wheel, and I'm gonna try Zach's settings. I'm gonna try Rose's settings. I'm gonna try Rich's settings, and then I'm gonna compare them to mine. And like we could go into the real science of it, and like barometric pressure and heat and whatever that's going on in our own each environments. And that probably is why like my Sprint X Wagner settings are probably not gonna work for Ross. Like I might be able to help Ross and like whatever, but I would have to be in his paint booth with him or using his equipment to really understand what Ross is going through.
Yeah.
Humidity.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. It was humid for me this week, and last week it was completely dry and static. So the gun acted different.
I love coating in humidity. Anything wet and damp and humid, that is the best place to be.
So I want to tell you,
you get 120% humidity, then it's terrible. It just clumps up coming out the gun.
That's when you whip out the Tribo gun.
All right, guys, I'm going to reel you back in because this is for another show. And as you can see, listening to the show and stuff, and I just want to give a shout out to everybody that is still on the show. We still have 26 people listening to us. We started with 28.
Crazy.
This is amazing. This is so much more than I thought it would be. And I just, before I get too far ahead of myself, I want to say thank you to you all for sticking with us, and for me not pushing the right button. But I mean, let's get down to the brass tacks. We all are here for one simple reason, and that is we know there is a better way to get information out and get people educated about powder coating. If you follow the podcast, you do understand that we talk about workforce problems. We talk about education. These people that run these companies that we buy products from, and these business owners that own large powder coating companies, I talk to them. They're in their 70s. They're in their 60s. They're getting ready to retire. It's a huge problem. And we're not filling the workforce from the bottom up. So it's going to change the dynamics of owning shops and running shops here moving forward. So, some of the thoughts that we were thinking about was, could we start our own school where it's more of a group effort rather than
please.
So then we can all just.
If you had a custom coating school, I'm not talking about going to a company's school and using their gun. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about learning chemical stripping. I'm talking learning sandblasting, learning the prep of the wheel and whatnot.
From men and women that have years and years of experience.
Yeah. Rich, you kind of cut out there, but
yeah, it's that experience we're looking for, or trying to establish, that you can have, regardless of the gun or the powder or the maker, whatnot, just the process of being a custom coater. That's what needs to be, really needs, the industry needs.
Yeah. And it's not a something that we've all talked about before is it's not a gatekeeping thing. Well, the problem with social media and on those forums and those groups and things is it's smoke and mirrors. There's 10 different ways to do it. Yes, because we're all in different climates and have different guns and things like that. But it's getting down to the bare knuckle of what is the right way to go about this. Why should I prep the wheel this way to achieve this result? And at the end of the day, like I said in that very first live when we were promoting this, there is plenty of work for us all out there to eat. So there shouldn't be any reason why we all can't get together and come up with a solution of how to properly train people coming into the industry. Yeah. I don't see any of y'all as competition. I don't think y'all see any of y'all see me as competition. We're all in different markets. We all do different things. So there should be some kind of formal standard that we could set precedence in.
But also it's okay to gatekeep our hard work and knowledge that we've figured out on our own.
100%.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat said, will I ever share my matte bronze? Absolutely not. Like, that's my bread and butter. That's what I've spent 10 years perfecting. I'm not just going to give that away for free.
Well, it's honestly, it's really, it's almost boils down to like hunter-gatherer stuff. Like if you know the story about Ford and Westinghouse, like in a race to the patent office for this technology,
sure,
it's kind of like it really boils down to it. Like Ross was saying, like, I was in this forum how many years ago looking for information. I was on the internet 5 years ago on the cusp of starting my business looking for more information, and there was zero information out there other than a few dudes on YouTube that were showing you how to do it. But who's to say that was really, like Justin said, there's 10 ways to skin a cat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I mean, I've had numerous of gun manufacturers come in and try to teach me or set up my gun or do this or do that, and it doesn't work. And nothing against those companies, but half of the time, either that rep or so-and-so that's coming in to set up your gun has never spent more than just that time of plugging the hoses in and setting it up just to get powder to come out to it, and then you're off to the races and on your own.
Right. Yeah. I think it needs to come from us. We're in the trenches. We're the ones doing the work. And I'm tired of the models that are out there right now. You've got people controlling groups that are just in it for making money on their own and giving away freebies free stuff that they get that they make money off of, or whatever that system is. I don't understand.
That's the world we live in, unfortunately. And that's why we're here. We're here to kind of mitigate that and give people a good, light at the end of the tunnel to go to.
I got a customer, guys. I'm just going to let you guys go on to the next topic. Let's get into, are we all done talking about that topic?
Yeah, I got one thing to say about it.
Okay, I'm gonna just mute myself for a second. Okay.
Yeah, I got one thing to say. I want to do so the last question is who you follow on Instagram. I want to go back to that. There's a couple guys that do things for the community. Like I know Nick Bocut.
Yes, he's my state relative.
yeah. Like powder coating is just spray it on parts and cook it, and that's how it is, and how it turns out is how it turns out, and that's it. But there's people like Nick, and I know Retro's in here. The dudes push powder coat so far, and it's changing so much. And like you were saying that, oh my thing's about to die. But like there's so many people that just want free information, because I feel like powder coating is still so new and so like Stone Age almost, like where it's just so cut and dry. So these other people that are pushing it so much, like Ronan, they're perfecting things, or even Ashton, with all the stuff you do with stencils, it's amazing to see things change. And I've learned just watching your videos, I can see things, and I take from that just by watching videos. But the knowledge that like Ronan has is priceless. I mean, I can do it every day, but if I watch his video and it saves me some time, then it's awesome. But I've been watching him forever, so.
Right.
I'm really glad to see the powder coating industry getting pushed by people. That's not just an industrial coating anymore. You don't just do handrails. It's progressing so much further, and it's super awesome to see. I'm really excited to be a part of this group and see how things change in the future.
Well, we're going to be part of that change.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Like retro. I know. Yeah. Excuse me. I know Kim just started following him, but. Just like Dynamic, who did the marble effect, he started doing the fade and pinstripe on springs.
Yeah.
Like, how do you come up with this? Like, I've now seen several other shops do that, and now he's creating a trend that people are jumping on.
Retro is one of the dudes that
unreal.
We I think all of us can kind of like relate to, especially me.
Yeah.
And then also I'm sure if everyone goes and follows him and asks him about it, he's trying to start, or he's in the middle of the process of getting some powder coat competition together.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm already talking all the smack on that. I'm telling him, this is my address. Send me the trophy already. But
let's go. Let's go. Put your money where your mouth is, big dog.
He's already doing things for the industry to get us all together. So really, this whole industry is coders who are in the trenches. We're blue collar workers, and we're doing things for the industry to help evolve it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. And I like what Taylor's saying here. He wants to know how helpful. I think it's very helpful, but just know that you're going to be blasted with a bunch of book information, and your brain is only going to be able to comprehend so much. It's an all-day thing. I'm going to be there, so please find me, Taylor, and I'll be there for the Custom Coder day and then the technical conference after. So I'm sure we'll have lots of time, and maybe you and I can have an interview, and you can talk to people about what it is like. It's a big book. We have one. I don't know where it went, but
I've got it. I've been to PCI 202. Yep.
It's a good book to have for sure. So if you guys are, struggling, I highly recommend you just buy the book for retail. But if you can get into a class, I think it's helpful. It's, the best thing out there that isn't wanting to sell you something. It is sponsored by the industry, like everything else right now. And that's what we're kind of trying to change a little bit is, do you have to, you can get a free course. Yeah, that's what we have. It's great. And it's very well written. They just reiterated or got an update.
This is edition 5, I think. And I don't know, what are they on, 6 or 7 now?
I think they're on 6 or 7 now.
Yeah.
So, there are models out there, but we're questioning the models that are out there. That's what this talk is about.
Yeah, I would love to see PCI get more, I don't know, make a whole nother division for people like us, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that, like the big box companies, the line coders, the production shops, that's what's running this industry. And like I said, time and time again, like I'm not here to, for business gain, for personal gain, but I'm here to help the average dude that's coming in that has the custom mindset. Because if we change the way that people are looking at powder coating from the ground up, that's all I'm about. Like there's 2 different forms of it, and we got to be pretty clear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's nothing for this side of it.
Right? Yeah. I'm ready for another giveaway. How about you?
Let's do it.
We got some prizes to give away.
You noticed in the comments that Taylor said, by the way, she.
Oh, Taylor. Oh, good. Another girl in powder.
I think earlier she mentioned something about wanting to speak with you about women in the industry.
Oh, that would be so nice. I think I just interviewed Sandy from Andrew's Powder Coating. That episode will be out next week. She is an inspiration to us all. She is a powder coater's powder coater. Somebody that you will aspire, you've got a small shop today. They are next level, and they're definitely leaders in the industry where they do everything from aerospace to skyline buildings in New York City. So they started just like us, small coder shop. So I'm really excited to have interviewed her, and I think you're going to really like what she has to say. And she wants to continue. She wants to help us too. She's on our side. She wants to help the industry just like we do. So I think we're getting the word out, and people are going to continue to, to be attracted to us. We've hung out the bug light, right? So
don't go towards the light.
All right, guys. Yeah, put your powder in. Let's get going. Let me change my share my screen.
Please be Mrs. Potato Head. Please be Mrs. Potato Head.
And hold on here. I got to change the dynamic.
Keep doing that. We watch that. We have a movie night every night with the kids. And we watch
that's my notes.
I just watched Bug Life with my kids the other day, and I was like, man, this Pixar movies were the shit.
I know, man. They're so like
one of my favorites.
You get so nostalgic watching them.
Yeah, makes me cry.
Okay, so what are we giving away? Let's see. We've got to get through some of these. Let's do Columbia Coatings again, and then we'll do first and finishing again. So
you're saving that 30-gallon drum for last, aren't you?
Yeah, we are.
I think we unanimously decided that we're just going to ship that to you.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, there are some caveats to that one, but I'll explain. Okay. So this is for Columbia. So just go ahead, double check, make sure you put #powder in there. We're going to draw again. And so far we've got 24 people that still need to win. So let's hit it. Lex, are you in there? Philip Wilson. All right. Congratulations. Yay. Sound effects. Philip Wilson is the winner of a $75 gift card to Columbia Coatings. All right. Let's switch over to first and finishing. Now, this is a big one. $250 gift card. You can buy a lot of stuff at the experts in powder coating equipment. So
can you elaborate on what first and finishing is, what they got, what they offer?
Rich?
First and finishing, Monty McClung is the owner, and they specialize in aftermarket parts for basically all the name brand guns and whatnot. You can get anything from application cups, tips, extension poles, electrodes, sleeves, you name it, anything, hoppers, anything powder related, pretty much they have on their website and whatnot and available.
I didn't even know that. So now they're going to be my new favorite place to go.
Yeah. I've been trying to get Monty on the show for a while. So I was really happy when he said he would donate to us.
Awesome customer service. Yep.
Yeah, Monty's awesome.
Great customer service.
Okay.
And also sells refurbished guns as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought one of his Gemma 1Bs. That was my first big gun.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
Me too. Yep.
Still works
Draw.
perfect.
Here we go. Here we go. Paul, congratulations, Paul.
Good job, Paul.
You deserve a good win. You hang in there and join all of our lives and podcasts. So thank you for supporting the show, and certainly a well-deserved gift card, that's for sure. So I'm glad you won.
That's awesome. Paul is a great guy. Comes down about once every week or two. I help him out with some stuff, and what a great guy, man. He's hustling. The guy's working his tail off. He's doing a great job.
Okay, let's do Tiger. This was a surprise one add-on. My rep joined us for a promo on Instagram, and he said he would give us a 5-pound mini pack. So pretty much any color, I suppose. He didn't really specify, but we'll figure that out, and they'll start an account for you and everything. So let's do for a 5-pound mini pack. We got 22 people left to win. Dean! We'll have to work that one out. I don't know if Dean can use that powder coating. We might have to do that one again. Let's see if Dean, are you still in the chat? He might have left. He's not commenting. So let's do that one again since he's an industry person. We're going to do the 5-pound mini pack. I'll catch up with Dean at PCI powder coating week. I'll have to buy him a couple drinks or something. So this for a 5-pound mini pack. Lloyd's won the 5-pound mini pack from Tiger. Congratulations. Okay. Do we have time for one more? Maybe. Let's see. What haven't we done? Let's do. I think we're on our last Columbia Coatings one. So let's do that one. This is the last because there's 3, right? Rich, there's 3 Columbia Coatings.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. We got 20 people. Lenny 175 from Columbia. We are powder coating. I don't know. I gotta talk to some of these sponsors. They need taglines. That's all I could find on the Columbia website was "We are powder coating." Maybe you guys need a better tagline. I don't know, or maybe more
Gabe said do another 5-pound mini pack.
Gabe said,
"Yeah, I said it in the chat."
Oh well, but we gave it to. We didn't give it to Dean, but is he saying add another one?
Yeah, it was afterwards.
Oh,
he was saying add another one.
Gabe, are you sure you want to add? Just type yes if that's what you meant. I didn't know what you mean. So congrats, Lloyd. Yeah, I think it was just the one. But
yeah, see, he just said add another one.
Oh, another one. Oh, okay. Sure. Let's do it. Another tiger. So let's change the banner here. Represent. Got to have the right logo. It's got to be a coordinated effort here. So we got 19 more entries. Let's go. Alexa, thanks. I'm sure you'll default to us, right? No, I think we'll do it again. Let's try this one again. Lexa's in the background there. That's our daughter. And she's helping us do all these dynamic changes on the show here. Phil! Okay, Phil, I'm going to leave that to you. You'll have to call Tiger. Phil used to work for Tiger, so he's pretty familiar with Tiger powders. I'm sure we'll figure it out, Phil. But congratulations, Phil. I'm glad you won. Okay. I think we probably since how much time do we have left? Let's do a gut check here. We were 20 minutes late because we forgot to start the stream. Is everybody okay on time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let's switch over to some tough powder coater Q&As. Okay. This is I'm going to stop sharing. Switch back over to my background here. This is not easy to do, I'll tell you that. Here we go. That looks better. We've got some backup questions here, side topics that I'm sure we'll dive deep into, even though everybody can relate to them. Starting with, I'm going to start this one with Justin because share your chrome horror story.
Oh God, we're gonna be here all night. I think
it was a recent one this week.
Yeah, no, that's the one I'm gonna dive into. You know, it's not that there's a reason that everybody in here, we're all powder coaters, right? So everybody has their own story, and it's pretty much the same. Not all chrome is created equally. We all know that. So as said at the beginning, I do a lot of industrial stuff nowadays. I came from the custom world, and I still do a lot of custom stuff, but 90% of our work is industrial stuff nowadays, and then we sprinkle in some custom. And I had this, and usually when chrome comes into the shop in this form, I'll tell them no. I'll tell them to go get it de-chromed, then come talk to me. This kid came in. He's a young guy trying to start up a barbershop, and needed some help. Let him tug at my heartstrings, and I ended up taking it in. And it was a total of 20 chairs, which I'm not sure starting up a barbershop why you need 20 chairs, but hey, that's not my call to make. The first 15 went fine. The chrome was terrible, but blasting and feathering and everything, it all turned out great. The last 5 have been the absolute worst nightmare. And they all looked good. When they came in, I was excited. I was like, okay, these don't look near as bad a shape as the other stuff did. So this is going to be a breeze. Just give them a quick dust blast, clean them up, and then they'll be good. That wasn't the case. Put them from the very first part. It's a total of, out of the 5 chairs, it's a total of like 130 pieces. And the very first part, put in the blast cabinet. Turn on the blast cabinet, and it start peeling and going everywhere. So I knew right then it was going to be a headache. And without diving deep into that, because I'm sure we've all seen it, and we could all be here for hours on this topic. It ended up turning into what could have been a one-day job to knock all that out. It took 3 days. Blasted one day, sanding and feathering the next day, reblasting again, putting outgas primer on it, high build primer. Shout out Columbia Coatings on that one. Get that pink stuff everywhere, and then sanding it all again before we can finally put the gloss black on it. It just, man, I tell myself all the time, I'm never going to take chrome jobs again. I have 6 sets of wheels sitting in the rack in the shop of just horrible chrome issues, and I'm sure we all have done that at some point in time. And I told myself that I was never going to take chrome in again. Like I said, this kid came in, young entrepreneur. He tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. We agreed on a price and also agreed on like some shout outs and things like that. And so I took it in, and I've officially, we've even updated. My wife handles all of our front office stuff, kind of like you and Ross. We put it in our contracts that no chrome pieces are going to be done anymore because of the stress that this one caused us. Not because, we ended up getting it done. I have to post some pictures on my Instagram of, some of them. It turned out great. Not the best. Like we said earlier, we all have our own quality that we expect. When we look at a piece, we see those nibs, we see those problems. We don't want to let them go. But something like that, that's something you just got to bite the bullet on it and let it happen. But now there's going to definitely be a different process moving forward. Because like I said, that chrome came in and I thought it was going to be great. And just had the blast cabinet on maybe 70 PSI, nothing major, just trying to give it a light little blast. And I mean, that stuff just started peeling and exploding everywhere. So I'm sure we've all seen, like I said, I'm sure we've all seen the same horrible scenario. It takes days off our lives from stressing about it, and tons and tons of sandpaper, grinding fiber discs, you name it, whatever we got to do to get that stuff smoothed out. So
do you think maybe he brought you the good stuff first?
I think so. I think he had it planned. Like, hey, but see, the first stuff was terrible. It was rusted, pitted, already flaking on its own. Like, and maybe that's what it was. Like, I knew what it was going into that, and then I just got excited when the last 5 came in. Like, oh, these look pretty new. They look like they're in good shape. And then I just all went downhill from there. Those last 5 took way too long, and I still don't like them. I actually want to redo them, but like we were talking about earlier, you got to know when to draw the line.
Yeah. I always ask for the worst photo on anything, especially rims, not even just chrome, but just give me your worst picture.
The good thing about these barber chairs, though, is a lot of pieces aren't seen. They go up underneath the leather or the seat cushions and the upholstery, and in the parts itself. So I think most of the visible pieces turned out pretty smooth, acceptable enough where the customer is going to be happy about them. He's supposed to come Monday. We're going to talk about it. I'm actually kind of pissed off at him because of the condition and some things that were talked about that didn't actually come to fruition. But either way, he's going to come Monday. We're gonna handle it all, and then now moving forward, Triple G has a special chrome process that we will examine before we take the job.
Yep. Anybody else? It's all fresh. It's all the
same thing. Like,
I've spent too much of my early career working for everybody else, and I mean, there's countless wheels that I've done that have chrome issues that bubble once the blaster hits it and whatnot. But it's it's all the same thing. You can only do so much, and that's work I don't warranty. Like, if you're gonna
100%,
you're gonna take no for an answer, then you're gonna get no for an answer of a finish when it comes to chrome. And most of the time, I mean, at this point in my stage of my career, like, I won't touch chrome wheels. The only thing chrome I'll touch is Harley parts. And luckily, like, I got a cabinet and I can really dial in where I need to be to get, like the right profile on chrome. So that's just one thing that I don't really won't take on anymore.
No.
I mean, what about all this stuff, Lacey, Blair, doing
That's
the
polished
powder coating?
aluminum. That's different
Well,
story.
but I mean, it doesn't help our industry, those kinds of posts, because now you have to go and explain it all, right?
Well, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily her or anybody else.
No, I'm not blaming her, but
no, I know, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, like, that's all eyes are on that chick, all eyes are on the work that come out of her and Zach's shop. And even other big people that are doing, candy colors over polished aluminum. I mean, I see at the end of the day, like, obviously, yes, you can powder coat something without a profile there. Doesn't mean that it's going to last or what. We could go down that rabbit hole for miles and miles and miles. But at the end of the day, there still isn't somewhat of an impact resistance. There is still somewhat of a pull resistance to it. But it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of how much the elements have got to it, how much where you live. Like, if you live it up here in the north, there's no way in hell I'm going to clear over with any candy color over a polished aluminum wheel unless I know that truck or that car is sitting inside until June and then going back in the garage by mid-September. Because at the end of the day, like, up here, we get a bunch of snow. They spray a lot of salt and a lot of mad chloride on the roads. So it really just depends on what area you're at or where you're at. Like, elements are a huge proponent in that kind of work going bad.
Ross, I know you got something on your mind.
He's muted.
Oh, honey, you're muted.
Or he's frozen.
Yeah, he just, we'll get back to him.
He just needs to come to your side of the shop.
He's on the other side of the door.
Yeah. I was going to say there's some questions in the chat.
Let's answer some questions here. Which one looks like one we should...
Jack King asked a question for me, but I could share a horror story based on this alone. So
now stop with Jack. That's my boy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jackie, Sheridan, Wyoming.
So I made a post the other day of throwing 4 temperature guns in the garbage without any context. I just said, do not buy these. And then I had a flood of messages saying, what gun would you recommend? So I used the Fluke 62, which is pretty well industry standard at this point. Those things, there you go. Amazing. So when I first opened, I bought a Mastercraft, which is probably the equivalent to like a Harbor Freight. I think it was like less than $20. The next year, I probably, and I'm not over exaggerating, I probably redid a minimum of 50 sets of wheels for free because of cracking issues. And that's because the gun was 38 degrees out.
Whoa.
Oh,
so
wow.
My first year in business, I redid 50 sets of wheels for free. You can only imagine how much time and money that cost because of a $20 gun. If I just went ahead, then I would buy, the next gun. Oh, this one's $40, so it must be good. Same thing. It was way out. Then I had a problem with it was out the wrong way, and I was baking stuff in the oven too long. And I've got a really, really, really good internal clock. So when I sit there with a set of wheels and go, that's been in there, it should be, 495 or 395 degrees, and it's 350. I'm like, there's no way. The oven's at temperature. That wheel should be done now. It turns out it was wrong the opposite way. So I'm over baking everything. I'm trying to get it to 400 degrees, but it's actually 440. So everything was going way over. So over 8 years, I've gone through 4 different guns. Actually, well, I went through Ryobi, and I probably had 5 different Ryobis, and within months they'd go out. And I finally said, I'm buying an expensive gun. Fluke 62 was the one. I've had it for 2 years now, and it's never gone off 1 degree.
Yeah, for that same reason, I'm definitely gonna get an IR gun, like a actual cameraed one.
Oh yeah, true. That'd be good.
I'm going to throw it back to Ross because the internet ducked out when you were talking about that last comment there.
Oh, I was just talking about you have to learn to delineate between SEMA builds and just
There you
daily
go.
drivers, you know. It's just like you get these guys that go, oh, you know, I'm going to go to SEMA, and I'm like, okay, well, if it's gonna be a pavement princess and sit in your garage, we can get away with this. But you know, if it's going to be your daily driver, it needs to be blasted, brother.
Do me a favor the next time you go to SEMA and go look at all the rear ends and the front ends and all the really thick substrate stuff that's supposed to be candy red. Go look at it real close. Tell me what it looks like. Not cured.
Right.
It's
a never-ending subject matter, I'm sure. You know. Okay, let's see who else.
Kim, I've got one of the guys just texted me.
Okay.
In fact, Clint did, and we've had this issue. I've seen it in the groups. I don't know if it was a pre-pandemic issue. It seemed like or a post-pandemic issue, I should say. It seems like it started coming up. Coders were seeing this more and more after the pandemic with suppliers and whatnot. But the micro pinholes in a lot of the powders, and I've talked to some powder companies, powder reps and whatnot. Finish looks great. And at the very end, you look and you see tiny little, some guys call them shiners. Some guys will say they're pinholes. It's very tiny in there. And, you know, and then of course you get 1,000 comments. It's blast profile. It's this, it's that. It's, you know, it's all nonsense. We've talked to a couple different reps and formulators, and they say it's the powder, the oven ramping too fast. And the powder is actually, the base isn't curing out because the top is flashing over. And then when it finally gets to cure, then it's outgassing from the bottom up. So you know, it's a common issue. We seem to be having it a lot.
Is it still happening then?
Well, we've done some experiment with it, both he and I and some other coders, ramping the oven slower, keeping it down lower a little bit longer, seems to alleviate that. Now, again, we didn't have this prior to the pandemic, so we're not sure if it's an issue with the powder that's changed formulations or whatnot, but it happens in all of them. If you ramp too fast, it seems like you see this effect. And it was brought up and asked if anybody in the panel or anybody in the chat was experiencing this or seeing this also.
Ross?
I've seen it, but I don't really experience that problem. I hot block everything, so that basically that ends that discussion right away. So if everybody wants to talk about that, we can talk about that.
When it comes to like pinholing, I equate it to like the look of like solvent pop in automotive finishing.
Almost. Almost. Yep.
Yeah, it looks literally identical to solvent pop. But I would say like a lot of my experience, like I came from that world where I like to hot flock everything, super light coat hot, and then I wouldn't hot coat it till it would be like it looked like it was finished. I lay a decent hot coat, and then I'd let the product cool down to like 150 or a little bit lower, and then apply another coat. And then that will mitigate it as well. And then you're going to come out with more of like a more smoother finish. And then you'll avoid window framing if you are hot flocking doing that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, unless you have experienced liquid painting, I would say I highly suggest avoiding hot flocking unless you're somewhat keen with watching stuff happen in real time. But I mean, I've gone through this whole process, kind of like what Rich was saying, like, testing this, testing that. And a lot of where my light bulb went off when it came to gloss blacks, and then even talking to one of my reps, he was telling me a lot of it has to do with like, the product, the substrate outgassing. Even if you outgassed it prior, it's still breathing once you go back into the oven. So like they said, a slow ramp up, and then I switched to a PPG gloss black, and then looked at their TDS sheet, and they're called for like 375. So I kind of took that process to everybody else's gloss black to compare to see if it would still do it. And like they said, a lot of slower ramp up time with gloss black will help.
Yep, definitely.
I'm gonna
some black will smoke your oven out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, especially
if you don't get that smoke out, that's going to create problem too. You're going to have to.
Oh, what's the name for that? Blooming or something?
Well,
I just
if
call
you're
it-
not vented properly, yep.
Yeah, like when you get like that chalky stuff on your
Yeah, on your gloss black, and you can wipe it away, and it does all that. So I've noticed getting those pinholes that I get those every now and then, not specifically for gloss black or anything, but I get it a lot in. We do a lot of RL 9005, and I get it in that.
Yep, 905.
Black.
On those thicker substrates, though, I keep my oven at 450 degrees. I don't care what it is, unless I got some really thin aluminum working that day. My oven stays at 450 degrees Fahrenheit all day long. When I get in the morning, I turn it on. That's what it is. And because we're doing all these thicker pieces, it just helps with time. Like those pieces that I was showing y'all the other day, it was 2.5 hours total oven time for everything. So I leave it at 450. Now, I have noticed that if I get busy with something and I haven't checked my temp to see where I'm at, to start a timer or anything like that, and I over cure it, I get those pinholes in 9005 specifically. I haven't had it with gloss black, but again, I don't know about the ramp up times or anything because I haven't tried that. Now I'm curious. I want to try it. Like I said, because my oven stays on all day long at 450.
Yeah.
Well, I know in terms of powder formulation, obviously there were major gyrations going on there.
Yeah, we couldn't get raw material.
Oh yeah, just in black in general. Like if you're on the West Coast and you spray a lot of Cardinal BK08 has the chemical makeup of BK08 has drastically changed in the matter of 2 years to where sometimes I don't even recognize it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know that a lot of people were struggling. What was happening was these powder formulators were having to reach back into leads and resources that they had as far back as 40 years ago.
Well, a lot of it had to do with like supply and demand, right? A lot of it had to do with certain supply chains not having this, not having that. So then they have to reformulate. There's no choice.
You don't know this, but it's Ukraine.
Yeah.
Well,
that's where all the chemical companies are.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
hey Kim, I want to bring something back. This gun right here that everybody was talking about, the Fluke 62 plus, whatever the max. So I got a new oven here a couple months ago. Well, I actually got it back in the summer, but I've always had this gun, right? Got the new oven and whatnot, using my old Fluke 62. Kept noticing it seemed like, man, this thing is running hot, but my parts are only hanging out low. Talked to Clint, talked to some other guys, and said, man, that just doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. Finally, being a hard-headed guy, one time I just looked at it, this end, with these things were all fogged over from powder being left in the shop open. It's right, it's hot, it's sticking to it. This thing was off by almost 40 degrees. Because
at least once a week I Q-tip mine out.
Yeah. I was just going to say I Q-tip
because treat this thing, I was hung on the oven out there. It's hot. Powder's drifting around in the shop, clogs up these eyes. You don't get the accurate readings. So keep the thing, kind of tucked away till you need it. Pull it out, check your part, put it back, and keep those eyes clean because there you go.
A big thing on, wondering if your oven's running correct or if it's hot in certain areas. Most of our powder suppliers will, if you have a good rep on hand, you can get them to come run a data pack. So at least 2 to 3 times a year, I have a data pack ran on my little tiny oven just for that reason.
Right.
Okay, let's somebody put in here. Can you?
There's
here we go.
About pricing.
There was okay. Can you expand on humidity and gun settings? Did we talk about that already?
No, it's just a loaded question. Like that is going to to be insane.
I think we need to.
That would be for another episode.
Another episode. Where was that? Whose comment was that?
That one right there.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Do you quote and hope you are close?
So what I did, I saw that and I thought of an answer, and then the comments were going nuts. I didn't have time to write my comment on there to him. But when I was new at that, and I did like what Rich did. I didn't charge a lot of people when I was brand new. Some things I would, charge just a little bit, pay me powder, buy me a case of beer, whatever. But I carried a stopwatch with me at every point that I did on that, and counted my time and wrote it down. I have a journal, like I have it sitting right here beside me. I have a journal that I write every job down, no matter what, even still to this day, every process, how much time, just to make sure I'm still staying relevant. So that when it took 6 months, 8 months, a year, I mean, we're still adjusting it now, but I have a shop rate. This is what my shop rate is. This is what it is while I'm blasting. This is what it is while I'm spraying, all that. I know that when somebody brings, like this morning, I went and met a guy and got some wheels at the shop and then came back here to do this. I know that those wheels are going to, from start to finish, are going to take me about 5.5, 6 hours. So I quote according to that. That's the best way to just get a general, in my opinion, get a general idea on your pricing. What's your overhead? What's it cost you to run your oven in your business? And what's your time value to you? And then go from there. Now, obviously, when you get into industrial work and start quoting by linear foot and square inch and square foot, then, that's different. But a good baseline is start tracking every movement that you make and find out what your time's worth to you.
Yeah, like what Justin said, if you're a production shop and you're doing a lot of architectural handrail, gates, stuff like that, obviously you got to kind of go by an industry standard or whatever your local areas, your kind of local areas pricing is. Like obviously you can be competitive or you could be more, or you could be less. But in the custom world, like I do run a shop rate, but at most of the time, like dirt bike frames, stuff that are the same thing. Obviously, once it gets into multiple coats or multiple processes, right, then the price will go up. Or, if you're pricing from black to candy red, obviously there's a huge difference in that. But yes, a shop rate is mandatory, because not even necessarily that, like, I will stick to my shop rate, but it gives you a basis to go from. And then I go from, I'll equate my shop rate. And then obviously once said product comes out of the oven, cools off, and I'm seeing true form of the finished result, then I'll go in and calculate my final cost.
Yep.
I like what you said, Justin, about the diary or the journal. Until you can, Ross has an internal diary or a mental diary, not diarrhea, just a mental diary, because these hard jobs stick with you, right? You see the chrome peeling, you're like, oh, it brings back this like emotional level to your work, right? But I like the journaling aspect for more than just quoting. If you're dealing with a difficult restoration job and, you've done this cam cover and, in this year, this make or model, whatever, and it's problematic, you should write all that stuff down. Just because you might have to reference it, not tomorrow and not next week, but maybe a year from now or 2 years from now. And you could say, oh, what did I do back then? And then you can find that post. It's a really smart move, as well as the documenting of your pictures and using it as a documentary thing,
On every one of my invoices, I leave like a pretty in-depth overview of what I do, how I started, what I did, the time it took me to do this, and that. And then, it's just like writing somebody's job down when it comes in on an invoice sheet, their color, this, that, and the other. And said customer comes back 4 years later and they're like, I want the same color you sprayed for me. Obviously maybe I might be able to remember it if it was a standout product, but most of the time it's like, oh, I can go back to, the invoice of this year, look for his name, and then see what my whole process was.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very good advice. All right. I think we're going to switch over to the giveaway. This is going to probably be our final giveaway segment. And then we'll have maybe answer some last minute questions and then close, because we've been at this for a while. And I want to thank you guys all. You guys are all still live. You're getting your $10 worth. Thank you. We're going to give all that money to Victor Pate for his wife's memorial fund. So again, thanks again. You can donate to him directly on PayPal at 81vrpate@gmail.com. He's so grateful for what we're doing today. He was going to be part of the panel. I just want to let you know that he was. I was speaking to him way back in November, and he's been on board with this whole time. But it's just too much of a struggle right now for him to be in front of the camera, and he will come on. I know he will. He wants to come on and stuff. So I just want to say thank you all to joining us today, our panelists, and as well as our paid attendees. This has been an overwhelming success. I just want to get, everybody needs a round of applause, because you guys have been with me with the promos and in the background talking about what we're going to talk about and stuff like that. So I certainly do appreciate it. And we've come up with more subject matter that we can't even address here. So again, if you are just joining us, make sure you add that powder in there, hashtag powder, in order to get to the giveaway. And I'm going to share my screen again.
I just want to add, for people who don't know, Jennifer was the coder for that business. Like, he didn't just lose his wife. We lost someone from the industry, and she was a badass. Anything you saw coming out that shop, she was the coder. He did all the prep, and she did the coding.
Dude, just think about like the Patrick wheels she did. Like, that is
my God. I
insane.
forgot about those. Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah.
I still need to find this.
Talk about like a dynamic duo. Talk about
it's a huge loss. It's not just a loss for Victor. It's a loss for all of us. She was a little on the shy side. I wanted to have her interview her because she was a woman in powder coating. But yeah, I mean, it's just so sad. And she was just such a lovely person. And I really feel for Victor. And it not to take away from the Pates, but this news about Steve is just, to me, very devastating, because
that's terrible.
He is always in the groups and helping people out just like we are. So I don't even know how to handle that one just right now. But
that one's that's a coder's worst nightmare. I mean, even if you have business insurance, just imagine the next weeks and months while they're handling out all those claims and getting everyone lined up.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's hard to even imagine. So, my gosh, what's left to? We've given out all of Columbia. We've given out Roro. We've given out the tools from Coates. We've given out a couple of Tigers.
Yeah.
Did we finish? Did we do the first and finishing?
Yep.
We've done all those.
We had two from first and finishing. Did we get both of those out? I'm not.
That's what I'm asking. Alexa, did we hand out the first and finishing? We had 2 gift certificates. I think we only gave out 1.
I should give away some of my matte bronze.
I can't hear you. No, you're not. I still can't hear you. Something's turned off on your. She's texting me. Or you can pop it up in the chat. I don't know if we gave it away or not. All right. Well, we'll go on to Benco.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is the big one. We need a big drum roll.
I'm gonna hashtag powder right now.
How do I answer this?
Okay, I kind of have to kind of preface this one for you guys that are listening in, because yes, it's worth $650. It's 30 gallons of B17. But as you know, this is a it's hazmat. Yeah. So
did I win the Benco B17?
Did you? No. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right now.
Trying to figure out how we enter.
Yeah.
You need an 8 DPE drum. You cannot leave this in a steel drum.
Right. So there's some things that are going to, and I need you guys to be kind of upfront with me, because there's a couple of things that you need to do. And I think what I'm going to do is, I don't know if I should just start the giveaway all over again and have you guys put in like B17.
A different hashtag. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, because I I just want to make sure everybody knows that what this prize is. Yes, it's a big prize and it's certainly well worth it, but you need to have a business license or a tax ID, actually, more than a business license. It's a tax ID from the IRS, and you need to be kind of a legit, and then also you need to have that overpack drum. And
from Uline.
Yeah.
Uline,
95 gallon
they all sell
overpack
them.
drum is standard.
Yeah. So, I just want to kind of be a little precautionary for those. Yeah. And I think what we might want to do is we've got pretty much the same amount of people watching is the same amount of people that's left in the drawing. So I'm going to start this. I mean, is everybody okay with me starting a new giveaway and just having everybody or should we just
keep change the hashtag and start a new one that way?
Yeah.
Because there might be somebody in it that don't have a business ID or anything. And something to say about this is obviously, I think everybody knows what B17 is, right? It's a very powerful stripper, so you have to respect it. There's a certain level of PPE and there's risk involved. So understand that and be prepared that you have to set up for that.
Yeah.
So Kim, why don't you start a new stream of hashtag powder, and that allows everyone that stayed with us this long, even if they did win something. I mean, that's kind of our grand prize. And then it looks like Alexa is saying that that we still have Monty's second gift certificate because
I think we do. Yeah, we still have that. Yeah. So we'll go back to that at the end. It's a little backwards, but that's okay. I think it's just better. Then what we'll do, you know what? Let's just leave it for the tool for now because we still have Monty's. So let's do Monty's first.
And one more thing, I'd like to I hate to cut you off, but I just literally the hotline just direct from Mr. Brian Talley at Columbia Coatings, and he said throw another $75 worth of powder out there from Columbia. So shout out to Columbia and all their awesome support for the custom powder coating industry.
Okay, so then we're good. Okay, so let me, I'm not going to change anything then because everybody's got their hashtag powder. So go ahead and do it again just to be sure you're double in there. We've got 17 entries right now. And so let's do the first and finishing 200. And can we change the tagline? Thank you. $250 gift certificate, or a gift card, whatever. It's just going to be credited to your account. Everything is bought online. So let's do it. Let's draw it again. Tyler Billings, Georgian powder coater. All right.
Do we feel bad for the people that win this because it's so harsh?
Right? I mean, it's a starter kit, basically, which is awesome. So, I mean, I'm happy. And, they've been so awesome in supporting the show from the get. So I just huge shout out to Monty, first of all, because we're doing his giveaway. We've just done his giveaway. And hopefully someday I'll have him on the show. I'm super stoked to just have him support us. I was so surprised because I haven't talked to Marty and Monty, and I know Rags to Rich's Rich just kind of got in there and said, yeah. And he was one of the first people to ante up. So I was happy about that. So, okay, so let's switch back to Columbia Coatings. If we can switch over to them, and we're going to do, they just donated another $75 gift card.
Holy.
That's total of 3. This is awesome. So let me hit that. So we're down to 16 entries. Let's draw it again. Kevin, Kane's Coatings. All right, Kevin. I'm sure you'll give that to good use. $75 gift card from Columbia. Who couldn't use that and stuff? So that's awesome. Okay. I think what we'll do is I think we're going to do the tiger one more time, because you know who won that second tiger was was Phil, our consultant, and he lives in Portugal. So I don't think he's going to get shipped any tigers soon. So I'm just going to do tiger one more time. I'm sure Phil will understand. So let's just do the tiger giveaway one more time. Here we go. We've got 15 people left. Marcus Fitzgerald, congratulations, 5-pound mini pack, Tiger Trilak. Okay, now ready for the main event here. Benco.
Hey, Kim, did you put in there? And correct me if I'm wrong. They have to cover the shipping cost on that, correct?
Yeah. So let's get back to that too. Can we change the headline for Benco? Okay. So yeah, it's an acid we use in our industry for stripping. It's got a $650 value. It's approximately 30 gallons of B17. There are some caveats to it. You need to be set up, and that includes having a tax license as well as a overpack drum, because you can't let it sit once it gets delivered. You do need to pay for shipping. They are based out of Tennessee, and it does take about 6 to 8 weeks. I'm going to just say that right off the bat to get the prize.
You need a pump that can withstand the chemical and won't melt.
Yeah, you do need a pump, but you can buy that separately. I think they're like $30-$50 or something like that.
There's a good one from Harbor Freight for like $100 or $60 or something, the metal one.
Is there? Yeah. So there are some additional expenses, and that's what I think. It's better for us to just kind of roll out with a new giveaway tool, because the people that are going to put this hashtag in are definitely those that are already qualifying that they have all this stuff. So
you got to understand what all is involved with it. So I think a new one's the best way to go.
Yeah, I think so too. So
you're probably gonna spend $650 to get set up.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not in the game, right?
Okay, so I'm just gonna start the new
Just hashtag Benco.
Yeah, hashtag Benco.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, like Rose said, it's a $650 value, but you're probably going to spend, $500-$600 in getting the proper PPE and tools and stuff to.
Like whenever I go buy gloves, I buy 5 pairs of gloves, because even the vapors alone will dry out the gloves, and if you crack and you get some inside, you're going to burn your hand. My hand is literally peeling. My hand is peeling skin right now because I was wearing my gloves all day yesterday. It's dried out my skin and my hand's peeling.
Right.
I got splashed on my eye 2 days ago because I didn't wear my PPE. Like, don't be an idiot. This stuff will hurt you.
Yeah, so here we go. Hashtag Benco.
Strippers.
So please only put hashtag Benco, not strippers. Billy, switch it over to Benco.
Family friendly around here. No strippers.
No.
Hey, they deserve love too.
They
do.
That's another podcast.
It is. My daughter's laughing, and I have a confession to make. She is a stripper.
Hey, she probably makes more than all of us.
Yeah,
she does. And for less time.
She's the industry leader here when it comes to money.
I'm just going to add her to the stage.
Maker for money.
She's waving. I just want to say I'm very proud of my daughter. Actually, Ross and I are very proud of her, because she is. She just helped bring a new bill to a law in Washington. Is that correct, honey? Yeah. So it's for equal rights that we're lacking in that industry, and this is for better pay for. And changing the dynamic of the industry. I think it's a game-changing law. So I'm very proud of my daughter. So I'll leave you alone now. You can go away.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, she's been working hard on that. It's not easy to come up to your senator and talk about this kind of stuff. And she's provided testimony. She's been working on it for over 2 years. So I'm very proud of her. Okay. All right. So are we ready? Is everybody put in hashtag Benco, if you have, if you are ready to receive this giveaway prize worth over $650, it will cost you money to set it up. So it'll probably cost you at least half that to set it up. And we'll do whatever we can to help you work through that prize that you win. So we've got 14 entries. I think that seems about right. So, anyways, okay, so here we go. Ready? Drum roll. Benco.
Go.
Taylor.
Hey. She's
All
been
right.
commenting the whole time too. That's good.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, good. Grand prize winner, Taylor Kasha. Is it Kasha or Kasha? Kasha.
Congratulations.
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 She's already a stick ahead of the game before me.
Good. I'm glad you won the prize. I think that pretty much, you know, if we could just pump Victor one more time for those that are still here.
Absolutely.
Certainly worth it to help Victor out. This is the reason why we've done it all, is to, you know, really help him get over this hump, unexpected hump. Nobody needs to go through what he's going through right now. And our hearts go out to him. And it's just been an inspiration to work with you guys and getting this all set up. I'm always challenged by new ideas and concepts and bringing them to this platform. So I think you guys all deserve a round of applause and thank you, you know. So let's give these guys a big thanks. Say thanks in the comments. We'll send you a link to kind of, I think, where's that link, Lexa? Can you put in the feedback link? Thanks for participating. I can't even believe we had all 30. I think there was a little over 30 people signed up for this event, and pretty much almost all 30 showed up. So, and we kind of stayed strong through the whole thing. So I'm really excited that people have.
Can this be bought after and watched, or is like it's live only?
You know, that's a good question. I don't see why we can't. I'm just not sure how yet. So
because like if someone tomorrow wanted to pay $10 and watch it tomorrow when they're not at work or something, right?
Yeah, because somebody just texted me and said that they just paid and they want to join, but they can't find the link. So we did have some issues there with some people not getting links, and I think it's because they signed up late. But I don't see why not.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, because, you know, the giveaway is past, right? We've done all the giveaways. So I guess, you know, if it was available for them to watch it free,
$5 or something, and that goes to the donation.
That's fair or not, but
yeah.
I mean,
whatever.
The information you guys talked about today was invaluable for sure.
What about for some of the people that watched? I think it was Paul. Honestly, I think it was Paul that said he had to skip out and he missed out on a bunch of information, and he was wondering if he was going to be able to rewatch it later.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll try to make it happen.
The guys that were working and were on lunch break, different things like that. So
yeah.
Right.
Maybe the guys have already paid. Maybe be able to email.
Well, I didn't want to promote that ahead of time in case I fell right on my face. So, you know, it could have been a crappy show, but fortunately, it turned out to be a pretty good show. So, yeah, I'll work on that. There's got to be a way for us somehow. And I guess we're still live streaming on YouTube, right? So, are we? Yeah, we are.
So YouTube.
Yeah, what's up, YouTube? I think.
I mean, really. So, like, we're coming to the close, but there's so much we didn't talk about that we're all in a group chat together, and we've talked about a lot, and we didn't even tickle any of those conversations yet.
Right.
So
yeah,
we definitely got to do this again.
This will be something that will lead us into, you know, more coming episodes and stuff like that, and it can only get just better from here, and more information is going to be poured out. So
that's awesome. Yeah, we'll work on that. I think it's definitely a need. So thank you all.
Taylor asked, how do I go about getting the B-17?
We'll be contacting Taylor. As long as she provided an email address, we should be able to contact her.
Yep. And I would ask that everybody, just send us their emails, Kim, whatnot. Then you and I can make those points of contact to Columbia, First to Finishing, and our other giveaways, so we can, get them notified, set up, and credited their accounts.
Yeah. Thank you. Give us till at least Monday, guys. I have been working nonstop. These guys have been joining in and assisting with the promos and working too at the same time. And it's taken a month to plan this whole thing. So I'm a bit tired and I'd like to go home early. But again, thank you all for joining us. And please do like, share, and subscribe. Where is the banner here? We're going to do the banner that shows all of our names and stuff. Follow all these people. Ashton Palmer's Powders. I'll find the banner here somewhere. Alexa, help me out. Find the banner. Here we go. No, yeah, there we go. Oh, okay.
Like it is mine.
Maui Powder Works, Rags to Riches, Triple G's Powder. Stay Spooled. Don't follow that guy.
No, you don't have to follow me.
Not enough.
Mindless reels.
He needs to give us some of his followers.
Right? I don't know. Maybe we don't want them now. We'll see. But,
you want a little bit of them. Just a little bit. Just the good ones.
Just the good ones, right? Right. And I think cross promotion is still really awesome. And we need to continue with that. Follow Tiger Drylac North America. Follow Columbia Coatings.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Follow Benco Sales.
Follow up, Kim, a follow up to all the sponsors that contributed. I mean, what a great,
Huge.
They ponied up with no questions asked.
They did. I couldn't believe how fast you had those two for us already.
Yeah.
So who else? Scott Coates, MVP of the year.
Yes, definitely.
And who else we got?
Roro Patreon free giveaway.
Roro. Thank you, Roro. Yeah. It's been a day of interviews for Roro today.
I'm done talking. Just kidding. No, I'm not.
He's coming after Zach. He wants some of Zach's followers.
Oh, I've got something that just crossed my desk here, and I want to say this is very important to me, so I'm going to share it with you guys. Okay.
Hey, there's the guest show.
This is a direct message from Jeff Hale, the director of marketing at GEMA, and he just wanted to say. And I'm saying this because it's important to me to share this. I wanted to tell you, great job and congratulations on the live event that you conducted. I had to leave, but they were giving away the Benco prize, but I enjoyed the event and all of the conversations and comments that were offered. I look forward to seeing you in Florida in a couple of weeks. Take care and safe travels. Thank you, Jeff. I know you're not hearing this now because you had to hop off, but that means a lot to me. And it means a lot to anybody that is in the industry, because that is really where we're coming together. And I'm going to leave you all with this, that we've got big industry people looking at us. We have small industry business startups and guys learning this process. And we all have a passion for powder coating. And that's where we have something in common that is so, that's where it all lies. It's pretty simple, guys. So let's hope that we can bring the industry together as a community. And that's what the podcast has always been about. So thank you all again.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Okay. We're going to end the live stream. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
See you later.